it's going to hurt him. I still think that the outs that Sandhurst have are still quite large, so I'm going to back in South Bendigo, but as you said, hopefully for a close one.
Where local footy is our first choice on Bendigo's Fresh FM. This is round number 2, the Graham Wright Cup. Here's Ronnie Rogers.
So Crispin Strawn will do the opening ruck work. Umpire tosses it up and we're underway. Round 2 in the BFL. And who can get first? Or Strawn had it for Sandhurst, but dragged off his possession. Bloods, quick handball, and they'll get a quick clearance out of the middle of the ground toward half forward. Running on and taking a clever mark. That was Hadow. He's about 65 from goal for South Bendigo. Goes along, beautiful use of the body. What a terrific bit of play that was. And is it Antonowitz? It is. Geez, he did that well. Josh just protected the drop zone and took the mark.
Really clever. And you mentioned before pre-game we're working out where Andy Collins is going to start. He started in the middle and already scrapping on with Dylan McCutcheon just on the wing here. So it's going to be a nice little matchup.
So Antonowitz, not much angle to speak of, only about 30 from home. Comes in. Deliberate right foot is straight through the middle. Bloods draw first blood. South Bendigo 1 straight to 6. Sandhurst yet to score. Early going. We've only played 1 minute, and that's thanks to Aussie Disposals. Here's Josh Dorr.
Well, like I predicted, boys, Jake Paul Pratt looks like he's got the gig on Antonovich, and already Antonovich has gone 1-0 up on him. That's not what you want as a key defender, to see the forward kick a goal within the first minute, but it's happened here. He's going to have to switch his mind back on. But as you mentioned, Ronnie, really strong in the body. He's not a big sort of target, so that's his best asset, and used it well there.
Back in the middle, it'll be crisp for the Bloods. I thought he might have started up forward, but they've got him in the middle, and he wins the tap to the back door. He was looking for Bartels. He's a prominent player, couldn't get possession. We go to half back now. They're moving it nicely through Hare. It's a scrubbing kick into the middle of the ground. Keck just swooped on that football. A scrubber to half forward now for the Bloods. Contested footy. Looks like the Dragons are going to go well here through Coughlin. Gives it to a teammate who'll just send it wide to Strawn, the ruckman. He just overran that footy. It was clean bowled. Now it's the Bloods to the back door. Rogerson, a short little kick. That bounced, and the umpire said play on. We're on half back here now for the Dragons, and they'll clear it up to the wing.
Terrific mark too, taken there by Stagg. At full stretch, can just pop it short. The umpire's caught him the play on. No, he's going to... Is it 50, is it?
Just over the protected zone. And Joel Swatton's got the job on Andy Collins nice and early for the Bloods.
So Nick Stagg with a 50 will come up almost to the 50-metre mark. In fact, inside the 50, he's probably got a kick at about 48 metres on a bit better than a 45-degree angle. So that could be costly, Josh, 50-metre penalty.
Yeah, terrible. Puts him right in front here for a chance too.
So Stagg can come in and have the Dragons' first shot at goal. Long, beautiful-looking drop punt, but he's just pushed it a little to the near side, and it's a behind. South Bendigo 1 straight 6. The Dragons are 1 behind. We're ticking up to the 2-minute mark of this first term.
Brad Wright will kick in the ball short for the Bloods. He finds a teammate in Brereton. A long kick beyond 50. Outer side, swimming pool side. Going in hard there was Daniels of the Bloods. Hard up against the boundary line. We're 60 out from goal for the Dragons, and it's either a ball up or a throw in.
It's gone over, Johnny, so they're going to throw it in.
So 5-point margin here for the Bloods. They got on the board early through Antonowitz. He's a small player, Ron, didn't I? I told you he was only small, not much of him, but fast. The umpire will now throw it up, hard up against the boundary line. Up they'll go in the ruck towards the line. Bartels couldn't pick it up. 49 out from goal for the Dragons. Just some hard work by Holmes in there. We see him do that year in, year out, week in, week out. But we've got a hold off the football, and it'll go to South Bendigo. Just deep in that back zone. Just weighing up the options here. It'll be a long kick. That player was Quade Johnson to true centre wing position. Ground level. They all dive in on top of it. Umpire will have to blow his whistle, and we'll have a ball up. 5-point margin here. It's the Bloods, and we've gone 3 minutes in the first quarter. Thanks to Aussie Disposals on Bendigo's Fresh FM.
So we're on the wing, or near enough to, outer side, or swimming pool side. Now, there's a whistle in the ruck. Free kick will go to Sandhurst. And I reckon that's Holmes out there with the ball, yep, Johnny?
Absolutely it is.
So it wasn't a ruck infringement, must have been a hold off the footy. Holmes pretty much on the wing. Just goes long and direct towards half forward. Big leap by Thornton, couldn't take the mark. The ball falls to ground level. They jump in on top of it. She's a big pack around this. I don't think it's coming out, Johnny. You can have a crack. It's only about 35. Oh, there's a bit of argy-bargy, Johnny.
You got to love that kind of stuff, Ronnie. They're up and about. Andy Collins is in amongst it. The umpire does the right thing and just throws it up. Bear Thornton wins the tap in the direction of Coghlan, swoops on the football, tries to give it to a teammate. Geez, that was ambitious to say the least. Zimmer offered support. We're still with the Dragons. Let's move it up to half. In fact, it was the Bloods. Move it up to the true centre wing position, and it goes over the line, and we'll have another ball up. So, Josh, the boys over there were a little bit willing, weren't they? Good to see them up and about.
That's it. That's what you want. And as you mentioned, Thornton in the goal square for Sandhurst, and Collins has drifted forward, sitting around centre half forward at the moment.
So, ruck contest. Crisp works his way to the front. In fact, did his own roving. Got a handball off to a teammate. Drives the Bloods up towards the attacking 50. Or coming out in front. Is that a free kick? No, the umpire let it go. Chance for the Bloods to reload, although Strawn working hard. The big ruckman did brilliantly. Picked it up for the Dragons and drove him to half forward looking for Collins.
And finds Collins, who marks it in front of the eyes. 60 out. Turns and goes. Puts it to the advantage of Thornton. It bounced. Still 35 out from goal. They're looking all right here. Sandhurst stepped over
he's
the
a
line.
bit stiff. I reckon he's a bit stiff, Johnny.
We're right on that line as well. We can see what's going on.
I thought he kept the ball in, but the umpire disagreed, so I'll have a throw in.
So, 49 out from goal. Here it is for Sandhurst. The umpire will throw it back in. Up they go. Thornton is in the ruck. Did some willing work in there. Tried a fresh area there with Sheehan. Couldn't get boot to ball. Now it's with the Bloods. They'll clear it. A scrubbing kick. Oh, it's just clean bowled about 3 or 4 players to the back door. 2 kicks out here for the Bloods. Might have been held without the footy, Leroy Miller. And he was. And now he will have a free kick off half back.
Big lump, isn't he?
He is a lump of a lad.
He surely is. He's at half back. Goes down the line with the kick. Dragons player works to the front, takes a terrific defensive mark. That was Lockie Ross. Did really well there and stems the flow. Can drive it back from whence it came, back toward half forward. Collins in front. Perhaps should have held that mark, but recovers brilliantly. He's got good pace, hasn't he? Swings onto his left foot, just chips it into the centre of the ground, and the mark taken there by McKinley.
He goes now on the left into forward 50, or running with the fly of the ball. Should have marked it. Brad Wright. He fumbled just at the last moment. He'll butter up his own ball. He wasn't happy with his effort then. 40 out from goal now for the Dragons. Umpire calls play out. Play on. 49 out from goal still. Just a number of players. Sea of players around the footy. Oscar McKinley tried to burst through the pack, couldn't get anywhere. And directly in front, City End, 40 out from goal, will have a ball up. South Bendigo, 1 goal straight, 6 Sandhurst, 1 behind, 6 minutes in the first.
So tossed up. Dragons try and work it forward. Big pack around this footy. Handball squirts wide. Chance for the Bloods here. Daniels. He's over the footy, but he's got plenty of company. We'll have a bounce. So it's only 35 from the Dragons' goal. It'll be tossed up. Massive amount of players around this footy. Ruck set themselves. Crisp up high. Got it down. Couldn't find a teammate. Tried to get back onto his own footy. South Bendigo player with a footy held up. Going nowhere. Again a bounce, Johnny. About 35 out from the Sandhurst attacking goal. The Bloods 1 straight 6. The Dragons 1 behind. We've ticked over 7 minutes.
Oh, Bear Thornton. He just rose like an Adonis. Absolutely magnificent. Put his hands on the footy. He didn't put it to advantage, however. They all jump on the footy, and the umpire will throw it up. Probably haven't moved. Probably only that metre, that tap from Bear Thornton. Geez, he got up high then, didn't he?
And that's the advantage he's got. His height. Crisp is looking for body, but he's just going to jump all over him.
Up they go. Thornton, to the advantage of Lee Coghlan. Puts it on the left. Drills it. Wow, that was like a training drill. So they take the lead, the Dragons. They are 1-1-7. The Bloods are 1 goal straight 6. Almost 8 minutes in the first. Bendigo's Fresh FM, where local footy is our first choice. Thanks to Holden, Colorado, at Poyser, Holden, Josh.
And once again, full credit to Thornton on that for the goal assist. As I mentioned, Crisp's looking for the body in the ruck around the stoppages, but Thornton's got that brilliant leap, and he's just getting a little bit of extra height. Coghlan, no one around him. Beautiful tap right to his advantage. Didn't have to break stride and kicked a great goal.
Absolutely, he did. So, Ronnie Rogers, you got to love that. Classic roving work, wasn't it?
Absolutely. Terrific ruck work. Now we've got a whistle from the bounce, the restart. Sandhurst free kick to Strawn. He's going to bring the ball out towards the broadcast or main grandstand side, looking for Collins underneath it. Good spoil put on. Oh, he had actually a bit of a collision with a
He's
teammate.
knocked out too.
It's allowed the Bloods to
He's
clear the
gone.
footy.
That's a big heavy head connect to Andy Collins. That was pretty big.
Harvey's got it for South Bendigo. Got it off to a teammate who worked the ball to half forward for the Bloods. Antonowitz almost, not quite. And now the Dragons should be able to control this and work it out. Bit of teamwork there between Paul Pratt and his teammate. And now they go across goal looking for Strawn. He'll get to it on the bounce. Can he keep it alive? Not quite. We'll have a throw in across half back for the Dragons.
Geez, that was Cody Price across half back then. And I'll tell you, Andrew Collins.
Yeah, he got 5 Sandhurst doctors and trainers around him at the moment, so hopefully he's all good, but it was a pretty hard hit to the head. Just quickly, young Will Keck is running on Cody Price as a defensive forward for South Bendigo.
Yeah, well, Keck just had his first kick, so keep your eye on that and keep your eye on Andrew Collins, the coach. He's sitting up now on half forward as there's a whistle on a half back here.
Friendly
for the
fire, they
Dragons.
call it, boys, don't they?
I didn't actually see the hit. Did you
Yeah,
see the hit?
it was friendly fire. It was a teammate.
Oscar McKinley, I think it might have been.
Good on you, Cam.
He's tough though, and he's up. Let's see how he goes. Rogerson receives the handball for the Bloods. He'll send it looking for Antonowitz at the teeth of goal. Dragons under pressure. Geez, they're doing it nicely. Zeb Green just steps around a player far too easily, and he's coughed it up, and he's kicked it straight to a Bloods player, and that's Miller, who will line them up from goal. 45-degree angle, and that was a pretty bad mistake there, wasn't it, Josh?
It was a terrible mistake. I'm just watching Andy Collins walk off. He's in a terrible way. It's really unfortunate to see. He can barely walk straight, being supported by trainers on both sides.
Yeah, he's going straight down the race, straight out under the ground, so not good signs.
Leroy Miller, left half forward for the Bloods to the Barnard Street end. Kicks it, it fades right. Oh, it straightens and just fades for a minor, so they even up the scores here. 1-1-7 apiece, 10 minutes into the first, thanks to Choices Flooring, Bendigo Bulk Carpets on Bendigo's Fresh FM.
Dragons bring it in. Zach East in the back pocket has it. It's going to chip it short. That'll be okay. Lockie Ross still deep in his own defensive area. Score's all tied up. It's 1-1-7 apiece. Goes across his defensive goal, Ross, and finds a teammate in the defensive goal square. That player for the Dragons was Wilkinson. His kick's gone wide, way wide, and out of bounds on the full, so it'll be a free kick to the Bloods.
And Ronnie, that's 100% down to the South Bendigo press. Sandhurst had nowhere to go. It was great defence.
Keck gets the free kick, hugs it towards the line to Ireland. Ireland now handballs it to Cody Price, who drives it up onto the wing. Contested footy. In the front position, good roving there. Work it was by Sheehan.
Oh, that's a good mark.
And a good mark. He put it inside forward 50, and the Bloods will line them up for goal.
I think it's Miller, Isaiah Miller.
And we'll just check that forward, just make sure that it's right. I reckon you're right there, Ronnie. It's no, in fact, it might be Brock Harvey.
Is it really?
Brock Harvey.
They're a long way away out there, Johnny.
Well, they're deep in the pocket.
Yeah, you're right. It is Brock
Brock
Harvey.
Harvey, yep. Brock Harvey, he's come into the side this afternoon, ex-Golden Square player. He's 65 out. Ronnie will cross the paint mark of 50. He likes his chances. He's going to have a slow, deliberate shot. Oh, it's straight over the umpire's hat. Brock Harvey. Good goal. Will take the Bloods to 2-1-13. They are leading Sandhurst 1-1-7. We've ticked over to the 12-minute mark of the first. Thanks to Holden, Colorado at Poyser Holden, Bendigo's Fresh FM.
Yeah, boys, I mentioned just out of that kick out how strong the South Bendigo zone was. And even though that Keck's kick from the out of bounds was a poor one, they were still set up beautifully. And they had all the numbers on that far wing. Sheen got the ball, had all the time in the world. And as you said, it was a brilliant mark going back with a flight by Brock Harvey and an even better finish.
So we'll keep Cam Power on notice to see if you can find out any more about Andy Collins as the ball's bounced back in the middle here. Player for the Bloods had it, McCutcheon, but he was gang tackled. We'll have another restart. So still in the middle of the ground. Crisp got over Strawn then, won the tote. Bloods trying to work it forward. She's scrappy at the moment, Johnny. We'll have another bounce. No one could really break clear from that stoppage. South Bendigo 2-1-13. Sandhurst to 1-1-7. 13 gone first term.
Forward of centre for the Dragons now. Just a hack out of the air by right for the Bloods into the middle, but there's nobody home except for East. East now in the middle will turn and go. You'll kick it to half forward. There's no one there either. Brad Wright just lumbers after the football and cleverly stepped over the line. I reckon he meant that every day of the week, 70 out defensively from goal. We've had a jumper change if you're playing along at home. Mitch Dole for the Dragons is usually 6. Write him down for number 11.
They just do that to confuse commentators, Johnny. You
They
know
do. 70 out from goals for the Dragons now. Haddo, well, they'll move it nicely here. The Bloods. It ended up with Bartels through the middle. Handball to Daniels. He fumbled the football, then just paddled in front of him, picked it up just forward to centre. Now he lost it. Geez, he's doing all the hard work. Somehow he manages to push the ball to half forward. Now it's the Dragons across half back. No clean position.
they'll get a
whistle
free,
on
Johnny,
play.
for a push.
And it'll go to the Bloods.
Nah, Dragons it'll go to.
No, it's going to the Bloods, I reckon.
All the way around, and Paul Pratt threw that as he was trying to get rid of it,
Oh,
unfortunately.
really?
And it's our man Antonowitz. Well, you don't like
Gee,
giving
that's a
him
lucky free, I reckon.
free kick at the best of times, let alone give it to that bloke. Antonowitz 50 out from goal, and obviously a little bit of undisciplined stuff. We discussed that before the game with Coach Andy Collins for the Dragons. Antonowitz to the Barnard Street end, bathed in sunshine, hot, steamy conditions, works it right. Minor score, disappointing result. 2-2-14 Bloods. Sandhurst 1-1-7, 15 in the first, thanks to Holden, Colorado at Poyser Holden. Local footy is our first choice on Bendigo's Fresh FM. Here's Ronnie Rogers.
So Zach East with the kicking in duties for the Dragons. And like a lot what he sees, he'll get the hurry on in a moment, so he just decides to go as long as he can. Up very high, crisp. That's a wonderful mark for the Bloods. He'll just chip it wide. He's got a player in some space who can take the mark and work it forward. Rogerson, little chip pass. It's okay. And the mark taken for South Bendigo by Thurgood. Now he's about 48 out on a pretty tight angle towards the main grandstand side of the ground. Take a really good kick from here.
Doesn't get any tougher for your first goal in South Bendigo colours.
Well, they lead at the moment by 7 points, the Bloods. This is to extend their lead. Thurgood on the runway. Comes in. Steadies himself and then goes as long as he can. He's struck it okay, but he's narrow. It's a behind. South Bendigo, a little wasteful. 2-3-15. Sandhurst to 1-1-7. 15 and a half gone first term. Thanks to Choices Flooring, Bendigo Bulk Carpets.
Interesting contest here. The Dragons will bring it in. Centre target will be Wilkinson, but he left it there to Leighton Ross, who was offering support. He'll look to bring it down the grandstand side. He's deep in his defensive arc.
Got nothing again here, boys.
He's invited to play on, which he does, and he puts it on the side of the boot. It slews in the direction of Parry, who might have got a fingertip on it. In fact, he's marked it, so probably fortunate Josh to get away with that, I reckon.
Yeah, right on the boundary line. Strong hands in the contest.
Parry on right half back. Unusual looking kicking style. He'd be looking for Thornton. He's in the middle of the pack. A sea of those players. Picked up for South Bendigo by Haddo. Kicks it to a contest. Hard up against the line. Going in hard there was Quade Johnson. And we'll have another throw in just forward of centre wing now for the Bloods. 15 playing 7. The Bloods have got the lead. 16 and a half in the first on Bendigo's Fresh FM.
So Crisp and Thornton, the ruckman, ball to their feet. Crisp tries to do his own roving, makes a pretty good fist of it, squirted out a handball. Couldn't find a teammate though. Big tackle put on by the Bloods through Bartels. Will have a bounce. It's on the wing. It's still a little bit of feeling, boys, amongst the players. Bit of push and shove. Again, Crisp and Thornton, the ball to ground. Well, good tackling. Put the South Bendigo team under pressure. Daniels over it. Couldn't trap it. Now there's a whistle. What's the umpire saying? In fact, it's Bartels, and he's going to get the free kick for South Bendigo. True wing. He'll send them forward, Johnny.
Yeah, he gets a lot of quality ball too, Ronnie. Keep your eyes on him for the rest of the game. And, geez, that was an awkward kick. It was down the line. And, in fact, he's just coughed it up. No excuse for that at this level to Wilkinson, who's on right half back for the Dragons. He'll spread it wide. Has he got a player there? He has. Thought it might have been a bit dangerous, but that was Leighton Ross. Leighton Ross will send it looking for Cody Price, outer side wing. Ground level. They fight hard in. Zeb Green offers support. Just popped over the top to a Bloods play on the boot through Johnson. It didn't go to anyone at all. Holmes ended up with the football, dishes it off to Price for the Dragons, who puts it inside forward 50. I reckon there's a whistle on play.
Yeah, it push out by Sandhurst.
So, look, they had the momentum then, and that's probably, as a coach, you don't like to see it. So the footy is now with Brad Wright, deep in his defensive zone, and he'll dish it off to a teammate in Sheen.
He'll drive it long towards the wing. He was looking out there for Bartels again, but the ball bounced and beat him out of play. We'll have a throw in. True wing, outer side, swimming pool side of the ground. 2-3-15, South Bendigo. Sandhurst 1-1-7. ticked over the 18-minute mark of this opening term. Thanks to Aussie disposals. Thrown back in. Crisp got the best of it. Got it down Bartels. Pushed as he got boot to ball. Didn't travel far. Little squirty one for the Bloods. That was good work. And now they can work it forward. Quaid drives it to half forward, but he's a little shallow on the kick. Dragons cut it off and they'll share it across his half-back line.
Away they go. Pratt received the footy. He'll go in the middle of the ground. Onto teammate there. And Stagg now will turn, kicks it inside forward 50. No real target to speak of. Another whistle. There's whistles going left, right. There's whistles going left, right, and centre here. Did you see that? It was a little bit of a tug of the jumper, Ronnie.
There wasn't much in it.
It'll be Dragons again. It's a short little kick to Stagg. Stagg couldn't get it. Bloods with the football. Torpy. They'll share it around in the back zone. Hindle off the support. Caught. Gonzo. I like that. Well, can I use that word, Ronnie?
You can use it.
Gonzo. So the free kick will be given to Alex Wharton as I'll go around the grounds. Eagle Hawk of 5'2", and Castlemaine 139 down at Camp Reserve. Now Wharton, he's standing at 60.
He's asking for a lead up here.
He is. He's not very subtle about it either, is he? He kicks it to a leading player in the forward pocket.
Good spoil.
How good was Isaiah Miller there with a big defensive
terrific.
fist? Over the line, we'll have a throw in 20 out from goal. Also, Kangaroo Flat at 1 goal straight 6. Kyneton, look out, boys.
Andy Collins is back on the field, boys. Looks like he might be right to go back on very shortly.
Good news, 5'2", So Kyneton 5'2", already a 4-goal margin, Ronnie. So Kangaroo Flat.
Haven't started well, Johnny.
Can I use that word Gonzo yet, or is
Not
it too
yet.
early?
You're going the early crow, I reckon. A bit early yet. Throw in deep in the forward pocket here for the Dragons. Gee, it was a bit of a shallow throw in. Chance for Miller again for South Bendigo to clear, but he's held up, pushed over the line. Again, a throw in, but they've worked it away from goal a little bit, the Bloods. It's about 40 around, perhaps 35 from the Sandhurst attacking goal. South Bendigo 2-3-15. Sandhurst to 1-1-7. And we've played almost 21 minutes.
They haven't quite got that quarter ground press that we talked about pre-game, Ronnie, but there's certainly a number of players in the zone. But
your boundary umpire out there, Ronnie's having a bit of a tough day in the heat.
Yeah, he's struggling already, and it's only early, as Kevin Bartlett would say.
Campower at ground level, keep your eye very closely on Andrew Collins. He's a tough unit. But he was out cold. We thought he was Gonzo. I nearly said Gonski. Maybe I can...
Yeah, he didn't look good, but he come running out of the rooms and he's back on the field stretching as if he's ready to go back on now. So having a drink now, but looks like he's going to come straight back on.
Campower at ground level, where local footy is our first choice on Bendigo's Fresh FM. We're still in the defensive zone for the Bloods. Parry at the back door received a handball. 51 out from goal, sent it high and long. Ireland surely gave away a free kick. It's a kick off the ground there by Minari, but no.
Yeah, you called it, Johnny, free kick.
Could have been, would have been, but it wasn't. Daniel Nolder's got a free kick there, Ronnie.
Last line, Johnny. He'll take it for the Bloods. They lead by 8 points, 21.5 first term. 2-3, plays 1-1. So Nolder, deep in his own defensive area, drives up towards half-back, Crisp at the back. Thornton in the front, neither can take the mark. Bloods will clear. McCutcheon gets a kick up toward the wing, no mark, ground level footy. Dragons can reload here. The handball comes out. And a very short kick, but Strawn's taken the mark. It was East, and Strawn, who's marked, well, he's on a tight angle. He's about 45 from home, but by gee, we're right behind him. He's got a pretty severe angle to contend with, but by gee, wouldn't I like a goal here, Josh?
You feel like I've just wrestled back momentum in the last 5 minutes here?
So Strawn, not the most attractive kicking style, and consequently he's missed a lot. Out of bounds on the full. Free kick to the Bloods in the back pocket. South Bendigo 2-3-15. Sandhurst 1-1-7. 23 gone first term. Bendigo's Fresh FM. Local footy, it's our first choice.
Okay, it's the Bloods with the football. Those blue boots again of Kex.
Oh, don't like that either.
Didn't
Johnny.
work really well. It was out of bounds on the full. Umpire Andrew Collins, who's standing on the boundary line. You could see that one all right. He gave it out. So Zed Zimmer with the footy, a short dabbing kick. Jeez, he's put his teammates under pressure. It's 40 out from goal. Parry picks it up though. He's like a big bull. Dishes it off inboard to Minari.
The umpire's pinged him. That's stiff.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
He got a handball off.
I was just about to get up and about. I thought we were going to see a goal.
That's not a free.
I may agree that penalty looked a bit stiff. It looks like he barely got tackled before he got rid of a handball then, but umpires make the rules.
Campower at ground level. Local footy is our first choice on Bendigo's Fresh FM. Haddo kicks it beyond 50. Again, Sandhurst. Zimmer coughs up the ball. It was Brock Harvey that got it for the Bloods. Then Holmes. Then offering support was Mitch Dole. But a free kick's been picked out, and Mitch Dole, the latter, will have a free kick. He plays on quickly to Holmes by foot. It was neat. Holmes 70 out. He'll put it into the corridor. Hot spot. Thornton got his hands to it. Front of the pack. Zeb Green roves it. But there's going to be a free kick. What was that for?
Thornton pushed out.
Either that'll chop in the arms, but gee whiz, he's a bit stiff, the defender, you get the feeling. Bloods are getting the rub of the green just the last 5 minutes or so with the umpires.
Bear Thornton is one of these players at 30. What he needs to do is to try to kick at 90 and kick through it. You know what I mean, Ronnie?
Yeah, I do.
Very Joe Danaher style. Oh, and he should have and he didn't.
But he got it.
Jeez, he made the goal up. Oh, it worked, didn't he? I would have put money on that wasn't a goal, but it was. So they take the lead. So they don't take the lead. 2-3-15 South Bendigo. 2-1-13 Sandhurst. That's a 2-point margin. 24 and a half minutes have gone in the first. Bendigo's Fresh FM local footy is our first choice. Thanks to Holden, Colorado at Poyser Holden. Here's Josh Dorr.
Well, I mentioned Sandhurst have wrestled back the dominance in this game. The last probably 8 or 10 minutes have been played totally in their forward half. They just haven't been able to hit the forwards, but comes to an experienced guy like Blair Holmes. Beautiful kick to the path of Thornton, and even though he couldn't mark, it was just right into his space, and the defender had to work for it. A good result for them.
So back in the middle. Crisp, that's a clever tap down. Quaid couldn't quite make good use of it though. Crisp goes again upended. Coughlin for Sandhurst. Fires out a handball to a teammate who gets a kick to half forward. Bouncing footy. Pretty well controlled by the Sandhurst player, but couldn't get a clean handle on it. Bloods appear to have the numbers in the back half. Taken with the footy was Sheehan. Umpires said no prior, I'll have a bounce. And again, there's a little bit of feeling there, Johnny. Just a little bit of, a few words spoken, bit of push and shove. We'll have a bounce. It's 60 from the Dragons' goal.
Across half forward. Up they go in the ruck. Crisp doing the ruck work for the Bloods this afternoon in the absence of Strawn. Or the Bloods player might have been tripped then coming out of the pack. A lot of players around the footy. Receiving a free kick will be Quaid Johnson. Big raps on him.
Just need to slow it down here a
Been
bit,
all right,
boys.
hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. He's only a short player. He goes laterally. Finds a teammate, and that was okay. Player was Isaiah Miller. There's a few of them out there. Just stepped around a player far too easily. Runs his measure, then he'll send it down the line.
Poor kick.
Out of sight of the ground. And an intercepting mark. It's going to go to the way of the Dragons. So they're seesawing it back and forward here. A kick to Oscar McKinley. Dishes it off to a teammate who will drive it long. That's Coughlin, and a nice pass. Nice hard lead. Bear Thornton never looked like dropping it. Into the bread basket, takes a mark 40 out from goal and line them up on a 45-degree angle. So good build up there, Josh.
Yeah, that kick from Miller is going to be having Brady Childs pulling his hair out. They just had to slow it down. They've been dominated these last 5 minutes. Instead, turned it over, and now Thornton has another shot.
Confidence player. He's looking good. Bear Thornton providing a target. I said earlier that if he gets a good start, we're in trouble here for the Bloods. And doesn't make a mistake with that one. That's his second, Ronnie Rogers. So they take the lead now, Sandhurst. They'll go to 3-3-19 and South Bendigo 2-3-15, where local footy is our first choice on Bendigo's Fresh FM. Thanks to Aussie Disposal's Josh Dorr.
Well, it's a really important period here for Sandhurst. They were a little bit thrown when Andy Collins went off the ground, but Thornton's been a great target up forward. As I said, though, he's still moving around. Be interesting to hear from Cam how he's tracking on the boundary there.
He's just walking around with the doctor at the moment, boys, but not too sure. Maybe probably rest for the rest of the quarter and see if he starts on in the second.
Tossed up. These rucks are going to get tied by the end of the day. Chris got it down. That was a beautiful tap. Miller kicks it up towards half forward. Brilliant defensive work there for the Dragons. It was taken by Paul Pratt, who kicked it out towards the wing, and they team up nicely. They can work it forward through Lindsay. Up towards half forward. Did they move that ball quickly? Oh, might be a high tackle. The umpire let it go. Players wrestle. Tackler there was Hindle for South Bendigo. The umpire said, I will have it. In fact, it must have went out of play because we're going to have a throw in, are we, or is it a bounce?
South Bendigo's
it is a
disposal
throw-in.
efficiency inside the forward line's been pretty ordinary so far in this quarter, where Sandhurst have been a bit more composed in hitting their targets.
Crisp will do the ruck work for the Bloods to advantage, and they'll move it down the wing. Contested footy. Islands is there. Now dishes it off to Ross, off across half back for the Dragons. Down centre wing. He'll be looking for his teammate in Nick Stagg. Collect the football and probably held without it. But it doesn't matter, he's too far out from goal. He's probably 70 out from goal. So they were doing all the attacking there, Sandhurst. They felt like they were on top. So it is quarter time here at the QEO. Sandhurst are 3-1-19. South Bendigo are 2-3-14. A 4-point margin. Looking forward to see if this tight contest will continue in the final 3 quarters of this game, where local footy is our first choice on Bendigo's Fresh FM. Bloods, Ronnie Rogers, I like the look of him.
He started well, and he'll start in the middle of the ground again this quarter. Tossed up, it will be Strawn and Crisp again. Bit of a 0-0 draw there, trying to break through the pack for Sandhurst was Parry. Got a kick up towards, well, deep into the forward zone. He wanted Thornton, who's immediately tackled and brought to ground. Working hard for the Dragons was Collins, who's back on the ground. That's good to see. Couldn't get a clean disposal on that occasion. Big tackle by South Bendigo will hold it up. Nolder in the back pocket, and we'll have a bounce, Johnny. It's about 40 out from goal for South Bendigo.
Andy Collins went the concussion test and he passed it with flying colours, so he's back out there at the moment, boys.
Well, it's probably because he had to sleep for about 3 minutes. He was okay. As the ball goes to the true centre wing position, it just South Bendigo kicking it out there. It was a poor kick, and a mark has been taken by Big Taylor Strawn, the ruckman for the Dragons. He's got an unusual ball drop as well. He puts it inside forward 50. There's nobody there. It's Isaiah Miller for the Bloods, who dishes it off to a teammate who will drive it long. Ruck work by McCutcheon, who's got that hair. You can pick him out. Good smother there by Sandhurst on the wing. Sling tackle, McCutcheon. I didn't like that by the Bloods on the outer side. The umpire will blow his whistle and have a ball up. So we've gone almost 1.5 minutes here. As the Dragons by 4 points, 19 playing 15 against the Bloods outer side wing. Ronnie Rogers.
Tossed up. Holmes in the van for the Dragons. Well, he tried to get around an opponent and lost the footy. Helped out by Coughlin, I reckon that is, who got around an opponent and then drove it long inside 50 for the Dragons. Clever use of the body? No. Free kick. It was a Dragons mark.
Right call. Used his hand. 2 hands in the back.
It was McKinley, and Brad Wright will take the free kick for South Bendigo. Almost last line, Johnny.
Brad Wright, he'll go short, dangerously to Hare. He was good enough. Still across half back. He'll go over the top with another dinky little kick to Quade Johnson, who's now on right half back. Pushes off his player in Coughlin, then plays on quickly. He fell for that old one. Spreads it wide to Bartels, left half forward, overran the football, 70 out, picked it up, lost his footing, still 70 out, just slapped forward there by Strawn at ground level for the Dragons.
South Bendigo very lucky twice there. Bartels dropped it, could have got caught, and then Quade Johnson takes on 2 tacklers and doesn't get rid of it.
70 out from goal now for the Bloods. Up they go in the ruck. Coughlin sharked that ball for the Dragons, dished it off to a teammate by hand. Holmes offers support, lost the football. Now it's the Blug. It's a long kick by Rogerson into the hot zone, and it's just picked up, and Lachlan Ross just neatly mops up to Cody Price.
Kicks it out wide. Yeah, you're right, it was Price. I don't think he can keep it in as he tried to get around a tackler. Have a throw in. It's on the wing on the outer side. Same as it was at quarter time. We played 3 minutes of this second quarter. Sandhurst 3-1-19. South Bendigo 2-3-15. Tossed in, Crisp up high. Got it down. Parry, though, took it for the Dragons. Kicked it up down the line. Could he find a teammate? No, he can't. In fact, it might have went out on the full, did it, boys?
Free kick it's going to be. I reckon it's right, mate.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, you're right.
Right.
He tried. Well, it wasn't right. That was wrong.
Wrong.
He tried to get around an opponent, which was McKinley, and McKinley tackled him and won the free kick. So the Dragons will go laterally east over the footy. Got it out to Strawn. Feeds off the handball. It comes back towards Holmes. High ball into the pocket. Didn't favour his teammate. Wright should be able to see this out of play, and he does.
Really poor kick there by McKinley. Just had to get it in quick and deep while Thornton was one-on-one. Went to the middle of the ground, and South Bendigo just created that stoppage to force the turnover.
South Bendigo doing well defensively here. Brad Wright, Hare as well, they're experienced. Seeing it over the boundary line. Umpire throws it back in. Haddo gives it off to a teammate.
Luck's a fortune.
Wasn't it? It just fell into the arms of McCutcheon. It was just a horrible kick. Still deep in his back pocket. As the kick goes long, up onto the wing. Contested football. They'll race for it. Strawn, the big ruckman. Just some bikey action going on in the background, I'll tell you what.
Strawn's been good around ground, I thought, boys. He's clean below his legs, and he's quite quick as well for a lanky fella.
Yeah, he is, and he gets a lot of the footy. So swimming pool side. We've got a blood rule, I think, here.
Yeah, Taylor Strawn.
He's just wiping his nose.
Umpire's not happy with it. I think he's sending him off.
Yeah, you can't get away with that once he spots you there, Ronnie.
All right.
So we'll just have a bit of downtime here. We'll have a look at the scores. 3-1-19 Sandhurst, 2-3-15 South Bendigo, 4-point margin, 5-minute mark. Bendigo's Fresh FM local footy is our first choice. Going around the grounds. Just have a look at the camp reserve. Eagle Hawks 7-4-46, Castlemaine 1-3-9, and the other game that's in a bit of trouble, Kyneton 10-2-62, Kangaroo Flat 1-1-7.
Just
Josh?
a small blood nose for Taylor Strawn. I'll pitch that up and he'll be back out there very quickly.
Thanks, Cam. Cam Power on the boundary. Blood should be able to work it forward. McCutcheon upended, got his handball away though. Quick kick forward for the Bloods. Might have been Hadow. Worked it up towards half forward. Antonowitz can just steady, get onto his left foot, drive it deep into the pocket. And unfortunately, couldn't find a teammate. The Dragons took the easiest of marks, Johnny, and they'll bring it out this broadcast side.
Yeah, that was Lockie Ross. He comes to Alex Wharton. Oh, he might have coughed it up. He showed composure, however, and dishes it off to a teammate. They're sharing it around here, Sandhurst,
That was
and
a
they
good kick.
showed composure. Leighton Ross. Oh, that's a
handball.
handball to Wharton. Will they make them pay here? Daniels. The ball goes inside forward 50, only metres from goal. Need to be careful here. Bloods, Antonowitz is in the area. Oh, Ross might have been caught with the football, dishes it off. The old 1-2. That was okay to Wharton. Now he gives it to a teammate, and they're going to get out of jail here. This is Leighton Ross, who's got the footy, and a little bit of nervous moments there, Ronnie.
Yeah, I'll bring it up towards this broadcast wing right in front of our box here. Great mark, Crisp, over the top. He's been good for the Bloods. And Callum Crisp will look to go laterally.
terrible.
Deary me, Ruckman, and they're kicking. That was a horrible kick. It was taken by Dole. He got it off to a teammate. The Dragons up to the 50. No mark. Chance for Collins to reload. Hooks it around the body. Clever kick.
Great kick.
What a wonderful kick that was. And he's found a teammate in Parry who'll line up only about 25 out on a slight angle.
It's just brilliant by Collins. He had Spot and holding him really tight all throughout that marking contest, but he just gave himself the space with the footy, even though he couldn't take the mark, and to swing it around his right. Just very clever stuff.
So Adam Parry for the first score of the second term. Oh, it's not his best kick. He's missed. It's a behind. So the Dragons go to 3-2-20. They lead by 5 points. South Bendigo 2-3-15. We played 7 minutes in this second term, thanks to Holden, Colorado at Poyser Holden.
Brad Wright kicks it in quickly to Hadow. Hadow now will spread it wide, broadcast side, looking for Daniels. He's good enough, now ground level. Just steps around players far too easily, then comes around the corner and it drives it long up onto the wing. It's a good bit of defensive work by Liam Ireland. He got a fist in on that for the Dragons. Now he dives in on top of a pack and the ball's just held up at the bottom of that pack.
Not a real lot of open footy, boys, is there? It's pretty scrambly.
Yeah, you can't really pick who's sort of got the momentum at the moment. It's really going either way.
So tossed up on the wing. Thornton at the back. Chris might have had the best of it. Handball came out. He's gang tackled the South Bendigo players underneath all that, and the umpire said, "You're holding the ball." Whether he had too much prior opportunity, but it is going to be a Sandhurst free kick. And Stagg, it looks like it'll be. He'll take the free for the Dragons. Right on the wing. Right in front of us here at the QEO. Goes long. Big pack, no mark. Bloods get a hurried kick out of defence. Thornton there. Couldn't trap it. Well done by Quade Johnson, I reckon that is, who's done brilliantly. Kicked it through the middle and found a teammate.
Nice pass, Torpy picked it up off the ankles. A left footer. Oh, it's just to nobody in particular. Palprat's there for the Dragons, swooped on the football. Now we'll run it out of half back, ran a long way, had one bounce, then to the wing. Had Coughlin. Coughlin's got support from Price. Gives it to him by foot. Now Price. A long ball. It's a shank ball inside forward 50. And it was intercepted by Brad Wright. So good build-up, Ronnie, but just went nowhere.
Well, both sides are turning the ball over as they're going inside their 50 at the moment. The Bloods have worked it around the outer wing. Bartels, again, overcooks it. And the player at the back, the defender, Lachlan Ross, takes the mark for the Dragons defensively.
He'll come to East, who's on half-back. Runs his measure. Now down the line, and he coughs that up to Isaiah Miller.
Yep.
Short ball to Haddo, defensive side of the centre circle. He'll spread it, seesawed it wide now to McCutcheon, who'll bring it down the broadcast side, inside forward 50. It's a 1-on-3 contest.
Good
The
mark.
ex-Hawthorn player, he's marked it in Thurgood. His jumper colour doesn't quite match his hair, I don't think, Ronnie. Red and red don't quite go. Antonovich picks it up off the ground, hard up against the boundary line. Oh, front and centre. Good roving work. Brock Harvey. Well, that's his second. Antonowitz, good bit of work. He put it to the hot spot, to the pack, and Harvey was front and centre. And as I said, a true Rovers goal, just popped it through for South Bendigo. 3-3-21 South Bendigo. They take the lead by 1 point, 3-2-20. 10 minutes in the second. Thanks to Holden, Colorado at Poyser Holden. Bendigo's Fresh FM. Local footy is our first choice, and they just manufactured something from nowhere, Josh Dorr.
It took some time, and Ronnie, you mentioned it beautifully. It was just it was back and forth sort of football, turnovers on each end. Finally, they got to Thurgood. He's the target that they need leading up for him. These small guys aren't going to be targets to mark the ball. He got it, and as you said, a bit of luck. It was really smart work by Torpy as well in that contest to bring it to ground, and South Bendigo just had the numbers, but Thurgood's really pivotal. He's the lead up. He's the sort of linchpin for this forward line, and if he can get his hands on his ball like he did then, his goals are going to start coming a lot more freely than they are at the moment.
Good above his head. His kicking sometimes worries me.
Yeah,
but,
that kick there wasn't great, but it sets him up at least somehow.
Yeah, you're right. He is a target, there's no doubt. So back in the middle, and the Bloods have hit the front. They lead by a point out of the middle. South Bendigo will go forward inside the 50. Thurgood again, the target. Tries to knock it on in front of him. Spills to, I reckon that's Antonowicz.
Yeah.
Is at a snap at goal. It was online, but getting back defensively, the Dragons taking a mark. Might be Wharton, is it?
No, Ross, Lockie Ross.
Thank you.
We call him the third quarter specialist. Figure that one out, Ronnie.
He's early.
Wait till the third quarter.
He's early.
Spreads it wide and finds the big ruckman in Strawn defensive zone. We'll go over the top looking for Dole. Overcooked that ball as well. A little toe poke by Dole. Tried to put it to the advantage of Parry, but Brad Wright is playing right up the ground now. Right. And he puts it over the line. And as a defender, isn't Brad Wright a good player?
Well, you'd reckon it was wet conditions today with the scoreboard the way it is. Very low scoring, Johnny.
Yes, it is. Our umpire hurls it in. Up they go. Strawn for the Dragons. Won the ruck work. Put it in the direction of Coughlin. Tries to pick up the footy, kept his feet. They see it over the line, and Jaden Sheen will hand it to the boundary umpire. So 1 point margin here, the Bloods. 12 minutes have gone in the second term. Local footy is our first choice on Bendigo's Fresh FM. Here's Ron Rogers.
So thrown in, Crisp in front, got it down. Really find a teammate. South Bendigo player pushed in the back, says the umpire. I'll be Bartels. No, in fact, getting to his feet.
Oh, careful.
Hindle with a free kick. Now there's a bit of argy. No, it's going back. The umpire's not sure whose free kick it is. There's a Bloods ball though.
And Nick Stagg certainly didn't like something there. He gave a little bit of a push and shove for Sandhurst.
Thurgood was a target again. It went over the back of the pack. Chance here for Keck for the Bloods. Can he keep it alive? He tries to get it to a teammate. Defenders work overtime for the Dragons. Well done by Price. Off to Holmes. Back to Price through the middle of the ground. That's a good kick. And the mark taken for the Dragons by Ruff.
He'll send it to Parry on the wing. He'll have competition through Haddo. Ground level now. Mitch Dole, didn't he go and just shoveled it out to Coughlin? Coughlin, don't argue, gave it to Ruff by hand. They'll share it nicely. Ends up there with Minari. Minari now, he's got Collins breaking for him deep. Well, he's a long way from goal. He'll swing and go. He's a smooth mover. He'll put it to the advantage of Thornton. In fact, it wasn't a really good kick. He was caught on the back foot, Thornton, 20 out from goal. Brings it to ground. They'll dive in after the footy. And 20 out from goal for the Dragons. Will have another ball up. Showing no ill effects there. Collins, is he, Josh, from that? Well, he was knocked out, let's be honest. He was absolutely knocked out.
It's incredible to see him running around just like it never happened. It's brilliant.
Throw up deep in the... Oh, look at Thornton up high. Got it down, but it was taken by McCutcheon of South Bendigo. Quade Johnson couldn't hold the mark. He goes again, taps it to a teammate, who gets it back to McCutcheon, back to Johnson. That was a good bit of play. The Bloods through the middle of the ground. He steadies Johnson, goes long. It's not a good kick, though. It'll be cut off by the Dragons defenders.
And that's the third time that's happened, boys. I'm not sure why Paul Pratt's getting so much space, but Antonowicz's got to push up.
East now with the footy. Left half back, broadcast side, grandstand side. Sends it to Dole. And Dole's got a free kick because I reckon he got one. No, it's going to go the other way.
Yeah, shepherding he paid, Johnny.
So it'll go to the Bloods.
Bit too technical for this boy, but that's what the umpire said and all.
Tommy Brereton on right half back. He'll bring it back down the broadcast side. Jeez, he's just swinging the ball around. Oh, he slips over.
He's holding the ball.
He's pinged. Umpire let him get away with it. Oh, fumbling footy here by the Bloods. Dragons now. Ground level, Zeb Green. Couldn't grab it.
Oh, that was a throw.
It's like a bit of soap here at the moment. Minari offering support. McKinley gives it to Parry by hand. Now Parry into the forward zone. Collins keeps his feet. Falls to the back. Collins looks to step around a player, but he's pinged.
Good
And
tackling.
gee, wasn't it? Geez, they're under pressure though. And Swatton will give it over the top. And away we go through Brereton.
As his kick charged down, Bloods are under all sorts of pressure. What's the umpire saying here? Give it to me. We'll have a bounce on the 50 for Sandhurst. And again, a little bit of temper spraying, Josh.
Yeah, frustration and tiredness. This ball hasn't been going anywhere. Both sides are working extremely hard just to get any sort of possession, and it's having its toll on these guys at the
I
moment.
think Isaac Ruff just letting Tom Burton know about his last effort there.
So, from the ruck contest, Wright works hard defensively for South Bendigo, gets his kick out of defence, back up towards the wing, close to the boundary. That's a terrific mark. Taken there by Daniels.
Should be 25. Yeah, it is. Push him after he marked it.
So Corey Daniels, that was a good mark, and gets the advantage of the 50-metre penalty for a bit of treatment after he took the mark, bring him up forward to the wing. The umpires love all this stuff, pacing it out like that.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of moment to shine, Johnny.
There's been a fair bit of whistle blowing going on in this
There
game.
has.
Have you noticed that or not?
Yeah, no, you're right, there is. So
let's-
Daniels goes long towards the top of the goal square, and Tonowitz, clever, and kicks the goal. Gee, that was well done. Again, he just protected the drop zone, used his body, sprung to his feet and kicked the goal. That's his second, and the Bloods move on to 4-3-27. The Dragons are 3-2-20, 16 gone. Thanks to Choices Flooring, Bendigo Bulk Carpets. Here's Josh Dorr.
It's been a great matchup to watch, Paul Pratt versus Antonovic. Paul Pratt, as I mentioned a couple of times, has been able to get a bit of a lead off him when the ball's been coming in quick and fast. But when South Bendigo move it up like they did there, albeit through a free kick, really poor by Parry to give away that 50 metres, gives him more of a one-on-one, gives him a chance to outmuscle him, and did it beautifully, kicked a nice goal.
Local footy is our first choice here on Bendigo's Fresh FM. Get involved in the broadcast, Twitter at Bendigo's Best. Big shout out to Shane Cole who's listening as we're just treading water here, smack bang in the middle of the QEO. McKinley trying to work his way through the pack. Also Johnson, he's been good. He just dishes it out to the outer side. There's nobody there except for Parry of the Dragons. Both players trying to keep their feet. Ireland offers support, picked up the footy. And it was a bit of red hot. I don't reckon he had prior opportunity. The umpire doesn't agree with me, and he's going to give it to the Bloods. Thought it was a bit red hot there, Ronnie.
Yeah, don't give them much time, Johnny, that's for sure.
No, they don't.
At least they're being consistent, though.
Yeah, that's
they're
true.
hot on both sides.
Keck received a footy. It's a short pass, and he's taken a mark. True centre wing, outer side. He'll now drive it inside, forward 50. Did I just say that the whistle's just going left, right, and centre?
Well, I didn't even see what
has.
that was for. What did he pay there, Josh? Push, did he?
They paid holding against, but that's a typical one-on-one defend. Both holding each other. There's no way that's a free. Ross has given it away, unfortunately.
Well, tell us what you really think. Now it's a long ball in by the Bloods. It'll go right to the line. Antonowitz tried to fly high. Thornton's playing up back.
Yeah, that was clever by Thornton.
Big fist for a minor score. So that takes South Bendigo, what are they, 4-4-28? Sandhurst a 3-2, 28-point margin, 18 in the second on Bendigo's Fresh FM.
East brings it in. It's well spoilt, though, and thumped back inside the attacking 50 for the Bloods. Dragons control it, though, although that handball put his teammate under a lot of pressure. The ball comes out to McCutcheon, who can have a flying shot and kick another one for the Bloods. They've found the opening just in the last couple of minutes. Dylan McCutcheon kicks his first goal. South Bendigo 5-4-34, Sandhurst 3-2-20, 18 gone, second quarter. Here's Josh Dorr.
Zach East took that kick out and he's coming straight to the bench, and I dare say he's going to have a bit of a word from the coach's box. Any time a defender kicks straight down the ground out of a kick out, you run the risk of just a spoil bringing it to ground. It's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Parry had space, but he was stationary. Over the top came Miller. All the South Bendigo numbers were there. It's a coach's killer, that sort of kick.
Quite the opposite to Quade Johnson, who's just come off for South, to a bit of applause from everyone on the bench. He's had a super last 10 minutes.
Thornton's in the ruck now for the Dragons. They can see they're falling down. They need to get a bit of a kickstart here as the ball slews out to the wing. Brock Harvey, the Dragons player, and Leighton Ross, fresh airy, didn't go anywhere at all. Picked up by a Bloods player. It was too late and it's gone over the boundary line. Now, thanks to Richard Jones, who's at the Kangaroo Flat game, he's saying game over. Ethan Foreman has 6 goals for the Tigers. 10-2 the Tigers, and the Flat are 1-1, Ronnie.
Long way back, Johnny. It's a long way back from there.
Yeah.
Free kick's been pulled here, actually, boys.
McCutcheon.
So he's got it on the wing. Sits it up to half forward. He wanted a teammate there who couldn't quite take the mark. South Bendigo player over the ball. They all dive in on top of him. It was Torpy who actually was making that lead, and the umpire said, I'll have it. 60 out from the Bloods goal, who were doing the majority of the attacking. Crisp, clever, knocked it towards Keck. Still he goes. He's got players all around him. Umpire said, I'll have it. He'll bounce it. I'll throw it up at least, Johnny, these days. 45 out from the South Bendigo goal. The Bloods lead by 14 points. We're 20 minutes into the second term.
Tell you what, humidity is about 99% here, so that might have something to do with the low scoring, as it's a long kick in by South Bendigo. Thurgood got a lot of that in the hot spot.
Yeah,
you get a free kick for a hole.
Advantage.
Play advantage. Why not? Brock Harvey just picked up the ball and said, thank you very much. And he said, I'll put the third into the bag. So Brock Harvey's having a good afternoon. It'll be South Bendigo now. They'll go to 6-4-40 and Sandhurst to 3-2-20. We've gone 20 minutes into the second on Bendigo's Fresh FM, where local footy is our first choice. Thanks to Holden, Colorado at Poyser Holden.
Sandhurst just panicking there. Defenders, the ball's coming in that often and that fast that they're not really sure how to man up. Paul Pratt's now gone to Thurgood. He's been moved off Antonovitz and just held on to him too long. Just too much of a dangerous target. Dragons just need to slow this game down. It's been very, very fast. No stoppages. Lots of fast moving handballs and kicks all throughout from both sides. But Sandhurst now under the pump and need to stop this rut at some point to get back into it. The
bloke on the scoreboard dropped his pie, Johnny. It took a little while to put that one up on the scoreboard.
Just a match-up change for South Bendigo. Liam Bartels has now gone to Andy Collins.
So we have they lost the footy or something, have they? What's going on here?
They've got it now. They've found it now.
So I think just about everybody, I think the kids are getting tired chasing it in this heat. And the boundary umpire's probably getting tired of chasing it as well. So we will have a restart momentarily. 20 points, big lead now, boys.
Collins into the middle. This is a good change here for Sandhurst. I reckon they need to get him in the game here.
Thornton and Crisp. The ball to the back. Picked up and kicked forward by Sheehan up to half forward. That's a good mark. Blair Holmes used his body well defensively at half back. Takes it for the Dragons.
Plays on quickly. He'll look for Thornton. Thornton had front position. Defensively, Crisp got a fist in there. He did well. Here come the Dragons again. It's picked up by Cody Price. He'll run to 50, step around a player. He'll put it to the hot spot. Dole is there. But defensively, Tom Brereton, deep in that defensive zone, took a nice mark, calmly, coolly, send it beyond 50. He's got the big man there in Crisp, who'll dish it off to Haddo. Haddo spread it wide, outer side wing looking for Harvey, but the boundary line wins. And we'll have a throw in outer side of the ground.
Got to be one of the best players on the ground, Callum Crisp, I reckon, boys. He's been really good for the Bloods. 20-point
margin here. It's the Bloods. And we're in the shadows of half-time here at the QEO. Local footy is our first choice.
So tossed in. Here's Collins, who gets onto the footy. Little chip dinky one's okay. Finds his teammate. Now that's Wharton. I've got him this time. Hard up against the boundary on the wing. Takes it for the Dragons and kicks long. Went over the top of the leading players. South Bendigo Bloods pretty keen through here just to run it out of bounds. Umpire says that's okay. Throw it in. About 45 to 50 around from the attacking goal for the Dragons.
This is good for the Dragons. Stoppage football, work it up the ground slowly, exactly what they want.
Umpire will now hurl it in. Up they go in the ruck. Grabbed it out of the air, Strawn. You can't do it for the Dragons. Or is it going to go the way of the Dragons? No, you can't do it. And the free kick will go to the Bloods.
Never doubt yourself, Johnny.
No, well, the rule's pretty straightforward, isn't it? It's a long kick. Inside forward 50. Keck used his body nicely against Price. Found some room, then sends it inside forward 50. But a fending mark has been taken by Palprak of the Dragons.
Well, his kick almost went over Holmes' head, but he was able to get back and take the defensive mark. True centre-half back for Sandhurst. Trail by 20 points the Dragons late in this second term. Oh, that should have been a mark. Parry dropped what he should have taken. Bloods can reload from the middle of the ground. I'll kick it up looking for Antonowitz, but jumping in front of him and taking the mark was Zimmer. Handballs it off to a teammate. The Dragons should get out of trouble here, Johnny, off half back.
Yeah, well, they tried their best to mark it up. And they did, didn't they? It's gone out of bounds on the full. There was a kick there by Palprat, who's done some good work in this first half, but that one was just a poor kick.
He's got more tape on him than Winks.
Yeah, he has. Jeez. You'd have to weigh 2 or 3 more kilos when you've got that on. As the ball comes inside forward 50 now for the Bloods. At the back of the pack,
free kick.
Dragons through Holmes. Handball to Zimmer. Makes him work over the top to Ross. This is Leighton Ross. Spreads it wide looking for Price, who runs to the wing. I told you about this guy before the game. He just gets too much latitude. He's got a leading player at the outer side. It was good in Strawn, the big ruckman. You'll send it inside forward 50. Bouncing footy now, hard up against the line. McKinley tried to grab the football, but the Bloods players all grabbed him. And 48 out from goal whenever ball up. 20-point margin, it's the Bloods. And we're in the shadows of half-time here on Bendigo's Fresh FM.
Rucks went at it, knocked it straight back towards the boundary, so we'll do it again. Big lead to South Bendigo. Not insurmountable, but certainly 20 points late in the second term. Pretty valuable in these warm conditions. Throw in. Again, Crisp got it down. Found a teammate who got a hurried ball back towards half-back. Bounces in space. Blair Holmes shrugs a tackler, then spears it inside the 50 at the back. Going to be a goal for the Dragons here, surely. Running into the open goal was Sam Green, and he made no mistake. So a goal to the Dragons, a badly needed one. They go to 5-2-32. They trail South Bendigo 6-4-40, 26 goal in second term. Thanks to Aussie Disposals, here's Josh Dorr.
Yeah, badly needed indeed, Ronnie. They've been dominated for probably 20 minutes of this quarter, Sandhurst, but found their way to sort of slow the game down, bring it back onto their tempo, and a much-deserved goal for their hard work. And I don't know how Seb Green finds all that space inside 50, but he does, and a nice cool finish as well. Just as we close in towards half-time, a very important
He
goal.
won't be happy with me. I called him Sam Green. Seb Green. Sorry, Greenie.
But Greenie will do. The guy on the scoreboard has dropped his other pie now and trying to pick it up, Ronnie. As Collins tried to burst through the middle, but he was unsuccessful. It's going to be all the Bloods. Miller sends it inside forward 50, looking for Antonowitz. Keeps his feet. 51 out. You send it back now to Bartels. Bartels picks it up. 70 out from goal. Deep, long kick to the hot spot. Oh, Ross probably should have marked it and didn't. Holmes did well for the Dragons and will be rewarded with a free kick.
Just had to lower his eyes there, Bartels. Went for the big kick inside. He had a number of options in short.
I reckon just the umpire enjoyed the way that Holmes went hard at the footy, Ronnie, and now Holmes will clear the ball to the outer side to Thornton.
He will, who'll mark. Half-back. 14 points the margin in favour, I guess they're the home team today, the Bloods. Kick up towards half-back, made it hard for Strawn. It bounced at his foot, at his bootlaces, if you like. Bloods way to numbers. Keck gets a kick back inside the 50, and guess who's underneath it? That man Johnson, who's had a really good game so far. Quade Johnson can have a shot at goal. He's only about 30 out, but a pretty tight angle towards the outer or swimming pool side.
And this will hurt, I reckon, Ronnie. They just switched off after that goal, Sandhurst, defensively, and he's got a real good chance here. He's had a fantastic quarter.
So Johnson, to add his name to the scoring list, comes in, and he is offline. Unfortunately for South supporters, it's a behind. 6-5-41, Sandhurst to 4-2-26. It's 15 points, 28 gone, second term. Shadows of half time, Johnny.
I reckon if you count your goals there, Ronnie, I reckon that scoreboard attendant might be asleep. I reckon it's 5-2, but we want to get that right because it looks like it's going to be close here at half time. Stagg has got the football. He coughed it up. South Bendigo here, swooped on it by Haddo. 40 out from goals. You'll send it into the goal square. Nice work. Palprat, Dragons, goes over the top. Holmes sends it further wide by hand. But it goes over the boundary.
I reckon that's right, Johnny. I reckon it's 4 goals.
You reckon it's
four?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, I reckon that's all they've kicked.
Yeah, all right. I reckon they might have put one there wrong earlier on and then they've swapped them around. But all right, we'll go with 6-5-41, 4-2-26 until we stand corrected.
We don't make mistakes, Johnny.
No, we don't. We're just a little bit quicker than some there, Ronnie, aren't we?
There we go.
Oh, swooped on there. Looks like Miller. Poor kick. He's kicked it defensively and Palprat takes a mark hard up against the point post in his defensive zone for the Dragons.
And a chip it short. Zimmer marks. Tight on the boundary. Half back.
Been good this quarter, Zimmer.
40 from the goal. He's defending. He has had a good quarter. He's going to be careful here and go for Parry. Parry marks. Wants to play on. He's in a little bit of trouble. Fended off the opponent and then kicked up toward the wing. at the back. No mark taken at the fall of the ball, McCutcheon, but had his handball charged down. Chance for Stagg. In fact, Coughlin it was. Got his handball away. Now the Dragons can work it forward through Collins. Can he find a teammate? On the lead. Chance here for East. Dragged down. Got the handball away. Flying shot at goal by Stagg. And he's missed. It's a behind. Sandhurst 4-3-27. South Bendigo 6-5-41. 29 and a half gone, Johnny.
Let's see what South Bendigo can do with this footy here. Zimmer got his
Great
hands on the
tackle.
football. South Bendigo are just relentless, aren't they? Across half back. And as you said, Josh,
Yeah.
good tackle.
Loving the work of Zimmer. He just goes in hard.
Left half forward now for the Dragons. Thornton does the ruck work. Sharked on by Haddo, who banged it on the boot. He's had a lot of the footy. Zimmer got the football now, put it on the left, gives it to a teammate there in East. Puts it inboard. Couldn't get a clear possession. A lot of players around the footy.
That last collision, Brock Harvey's hurt his shoulder a little bit. He's definitely favouring that right shoulder as he heads towards. Well, he was heading towards the bench as the siren went.
Well, keep your eye on that at ground level. Good work there by our man.
I mean, it's a stinger.
A stinger, good old-fashioned stinger. Well, 6-5-41 here, South Bendigo, 4-3-27 Sandhurst. And Josh Dorr, I'd be interested in what
The game.
in the scheme of things, though. Geez, you know, it is a big margin. It's only 6 goals to 4. Start of the second term here. Up in the ruck, it'll be big man Crisp he'll against Strawn. Won by Bartels of the Bloods. He'll send it forward, inside forward 50. 45 out from goal, Barnard Street in. They dive in on top of the footy. At the bottom of that pack, Torpy, who's been pretty good for the Bloods, and the umpire will ball it up. Up they'll go in the ruck again. Crisp. He'll be looking there for Rogerson. Couldn't find him. He was at the back door. Holmes now. Gives it to Leighton Ross. To East by hand. It was an awkward ball. Defensive zone. Now he gives it back to a teammate who'll kick it long. This is Ross again. Looking for Collins on the wing. Got a lot of that
Good
ball
mark.
and good contested mark.
The players running by. It ends up with Parry. 75 from goal. Chips it to full forward, almost full forward. Good spoil by the Bloods defenders. Running onto it though is Stagg. Can just drop it short, and
Smart
he does. Was a clever kick, you're right. And he found a teammate, this time in Zimmer, who's well within range. He's about 40 out, 45 degree angle.
My boy here, Zimmer. And that was really smart there, just looking inboard by Stagg. A couple of guys going into this side of the ground have blazed away, so clever stuff to find an option.
Can the Dragons get the perfect start to this second half? Jed Zimmer on the runway, won't have the distance. It's going to fall to the top of the goal square. Thornton almost, not quite. Last line of defence, Nolder will run it out of defence for the Bloods.
And here they go through Bartels. Has a bounce, runs a long way, sends it to the outer side of the ground, looking for Ireland. He's got front position. If it sits for him, it doesn't. He's under pressure. Holmes offers support, sockers it off the ground, along the line. Bloods are there through Johnson, picks it up, bangs it on the boot, finds a teammate. Daniels played on, probably not the required distance, and he was tripped.
Got legs, said the umpire.
Play on quickly. He's got a player in McCutcheon breaking for him. Too far out to score. He goes short, inside forward 50. Leading player hits him on the chest, and it is Haddo. Haddo now, I don't know why he would, but he looks to play on quickly. He's within range, I would reckon. Let's go around the ground thanks to Wayne Smith in other Heathcote scores. Leachville 14-6-90. Heathcote 1-2-8.
Oh.
LBU 8-10-58. White Hills 2 goals straight. Thanks to White Hills. Local footy is our first choice on Bendigo's Fresh FM. Let's have a look at this ball. It'll go to the line. Off hands. Antonowitz might have got hands on it. Oh, just from nowhere. It's a kick out of the air. Might be Antonowitz that's kicked it. Geez, they like it. It's a goal to South Bendigo. Geez, they go now to... It is 7-5-47. In fact, it will be 8-5-53. Sandhurst to 4-3-27. 3 minutes into the third. Braden Torpy, in fact, it was. They all look alike, those blonde-haired boys down there. Thanks to Holden, Colorado, at Poyser Holden, Bendigo's Fresh FM, where local footy is our first choice. Josh Dorr.
Yeah, just look to be those small guys just at the bottom of the pack. As dangerous as they are, they kept the ball in. Torpy was just clever enough to throw a bird on it.
Three of them in there, wasn't there? Yeah.
Simple as that. I mean, Sandhurst defender, you should have killed that through when it's that close to the line. So they'll be pretty frustrated with that.
So that's a costly one for the Dragons. Thrown up in the middle. Crisp Quaid Johnson couldn't trap it. Kicked off the ground by Parry to the 50 for the Dragons. Floating handball over the top. This might work for the Dragons. Getting a quick shot at goal is Minari, and he has put it through. So a quick answer. That's what they needed. The Dragons. Minari kicks his first goal of the afternoon. The margin back to 14 points. 7-5-47 South Bendigo. Sandhurst go to 5-3-33. Thanks to Choices Flooring, Bendigo Bulk Carpets. 4 minutes. Third term. Here's Josh Dorr.
Yeah, and great work by Adam Parry. I mentioned he was pretty strong in that second quarter. He's really coming alive here for the Dragons. I reckon that's the first time, boys, all day we've probably seen a clean clearance like that, straight out, and a bloke runs onto it in Minari in a tidy finish. It hasn't been that sort of game, so that's a good response early from the Dragons.
Quick response, wasn't it? It was good footy back in the middle. Let's see what we can do here with Crisp. He's been rucking all day and he's been doing it extremely well. Contest now just forward of centre for Sandhurst. It's ground level. Parry, the big bull, just tried to bustle his way through a pack, couldn't get there. We'll have a ball up just forward of centre for the Dragons. 33 playing 47. It's the Bloods, 4.5 in the third. Local footy is our first choice on Bendigo's Fresh FM. Parry again, don't argue. Over the top, by hand to Strawn, the big ruckman, lost it. Whistle on play, and a free kick will go to South. In fact, he's called it the other way, and now it'll go back to Coghlan.
Lucky for the Dragons that South Bendigo were well and truly out there.
They were too.
Coghlan, smack bang in the middle of the QEO, looks for Collins, inside forward 50. Minari overran the footy. The ball was just hacked out of the air by the Bloods. Nobody there. Leighton Ross grabs it at 50 by hand, or putting teammates under pressure. Zimmer couldn't grab it. Butted up with a good tackle. It was a little bit of a sling on Swat, and be careful. East grabs the football, gives it by hand to Dole, one way, then the other. He danced on a penny, gave it to Coghlan. Coghlan a short pass, load the eyes. Stagg took a mark, 40 out from goal, and he'll have a shot. Danced on a penny. Where did I get that one from, Ronnie?
It sounds good. Let's hope he can kick a goal and just tighten it up a little bit here. It's South have had the advantage, but a couple of quick goals to the Dragons might just tighten this contest right up, Johnny.
One of my favourite, Stagg. I reckon, I just sense he might be a fraction too far. Those little pumping legs. Crosses the paint mark of 50. Kicks it at 48. He leant back. You could tell a player when he does that hasn't quite got the confidence in the distance, and it was a minor score. Sandhurst now go to 5-4-34, trailing 7-5-47 the Bloods. 6 minutes in the third. Going around the grounds. Golden Square 13-9. Maryborough are 1-2, thanks to Mike Lowther.
Brad Wright will bring it in for the Bloods, the burly defender for South Bendigo. Goes out wide. That was a good kick. Found his mark out there. Play with the footy. Might be Sheehan, I reckon, who goes down the line. Nolder, did he mark that in the field of play? No, he did not, said the boundary umpire.
Didn't like the push he got either.
So we've got to throw in. Still across half forward for Sandhurst. They've tightened it back up to what, Johnny? 13 points, so it's not insurmountable, that's for sure.
No, they're in striking distance, and you feel like that they're just pressing here. Picked up by the Bloods through Isaiah Miller, who went across the body, but Holmes was there on the wing. Now he will send it long. Collins, he was brave. Backed into the pack, got a lot of it, couldn't quite mark it. They're running in waves here. Dole received a handball. Should have done better, should have cooked a goal. And pressing is an understatement. They increase the margin by another behind, 5-5-35. Sandhurst, South Bendigo 7-5-47, so 12 points now, 7 in the third, thanks to Poison Motors on Bendigo's Fresh FM.
Wright chipped it in, found a teammate who spread it wide. That was a good kick, the mark taken by Rogerson. Half back for South Bendigo, in towards the corridor. Good kick, found his man, had out, up towards half forward, no mark. Ball at ground level, in dispute, big tackle put on by Lachlan Ross, and we've got a stoppage. I'll have a throw up between wing and half forward for South Bendigo in front of the main grandstand here at the QEO.
Up they'll go in the ruck. Crisp swooped on there by Haddo, who's had a lot out of it, put inside forward 50, but Lockie Ross in the third quarter specialist. He's got to play a breaking into the middle. It was an awesome kick to McKinley. Turns and goes. He's got Cody Price breaking for him. Left half forward. Sits for him. He'll go inboard now. Calm, cool, collected. Parry offered a lead. It was wide of Parry, but it goes into the corridor. 45 out now. Geez, Dole just tried to bustle his way through a pack, couldn't get there. Just punched at the ball when it was all bound up. And we'll have a throw up, 45 out from goal.
Margin is 12 points in favour of South Bendigo. Strawn up in the ruck. Might have had a hand on it, but couldn't find a teammate. So we've got another stoppage.
Credit to Strawn as well. He's started well here in 10 minutes in the ruck. He sort of just broke even with Crisp.
So it's on 50 for the Dragons. Again, Strawn got it down. Dragons player tried to get through, was held up over the footy for South Bendigo. Brereton. Umpire says you're holding the ball. He's not very happy. As you'd expect, Stagg's going to take the free kick directly in front of goal, 45 from home.
I reckon he might look to pass this off here, Stagg, after this last one, Johnny. He missed a few shots, and once again, it's probably like you said before, right on that distance that he's got.
He's slightly closer though, isn't he? Slightly.
Yeah, slightly.
Better angle as well. He's pretty much directly in front.
See what he can do. The margin is 12 at the moment. To reduce it to one straight kick, Nick Stagg on the runway. 45 out. Kicks from about 48. Distance, not quite. Thornton, not quite. Almost had it in the goal square. The Bloods try and work it out. Floating handball comes across. Now on the end of it is Miller. That's Isaiah Miller, and he clears the defensive area.
Oh, not for long though. Holmes grabs it. He puts it inboard. He received the old 1-2. Now puts it around the body. It's long. It's high. It's handsome. Blair Holmes for his first. He just willed that football forward, butted up his own ball and just popped it through. Long high ball as I described. So, well, they inch closer. 6 points as the margin now. Sandhurst 6-5-41. South Bendigo 7-5-47. 10 minutes in the third. Thanks to Holden, Colorado at Poyser Holden. Bendigo's Fresh FM, where local footy is our first choice. Josh Dorr.
He's been huge, Blair Holmes. And once again, the same problems for South Bendigo. Going inside 50, they've been poor, and Holmes has been there to mop it up. And no one marks up, so he rolls up and kicks a great goal. Dangerous stuff.
From the restart, Crisp knocked it wide. Dragons work hard. They get a clean handball. Comes out towards McKinley. He can get it up toward half forward. That's a good kick. Collins comes out and takes the mark on the 50. Now he might be too far out to score. He goes laterally. Thornton, was he pushed? The umpire said he was. And big Matt Thornton will go back directly in front of goal. Only 35 out to tie things up, Josh.
Yeah, and South Bendigo they got to sort things out. That contest in the middle there, off the ball up. They were just trailing the whole way. McKinley had so much space out on the wing, and they're struggling at the moment. I reckon they're feeling it. Some of their midfielders second to it.
Matt Thornton's kicked 2 goals for goal number 3, and to draw scores at level. He fires straight over the goal umpire's hat. No mistake there. Scores a level. Thornton's got 3. It's 7-5-47 apiece here at the QEO in round 2. Bendigo's Fresh FM. Local footy is our first choice. Thanks to Aussie Disposals. Here's Josh Dorr.
This is great footy. I mean, this is exactly what you wanted from Sandhurst at the start of this third quarter. They've come out strong. They've kicked 3 goals in the matter of 5 minutes. And now, once again, as this game has done all day, it backflips. And now the onus is right on Brady Childs to find out how he can respond and how he can get his midfielders to get back into this game. Full credit to Taylor Strawn. He's lifted up against Crisp. You're going to keep going here.
He's back in the middle. Strawn now. Geez, he's a good replacement for Tim Martin, isn't he? Who would have thought? Who would have thunk it? As the umpire will have a secondary bounce just inches forward of centre for the Bloods. It's probably the first time they've been forward for about 15 minutes, Ronnie. So Holmes again, he's everywhere. He now kicks it long, high on the left. Bouncing footy, left half back. Nice pick up, nice collect by Hare. Puts it on the boot. Long, high, ugly ball out of bounds on the full. And there's going to be a fair bit of pressure on the forwards here on the backs for South Bendigo as a free kick will be given to Tommy Brereton. Oh, sorry, Isaac Ruff.
So they bring the ball to the 50. Good work by Wright. Stood in the hole in front of Collins. Took the mark defensively for the Bloods. Wants to square it off. That's okay. Zach Hare. 30 from the goal. He's defending. Just trots away. No real pressure. Can he hit a target? He tries to. It's well spoilt. The umpire said no, it's not. So the free kick will come back to the Bloods. Picked up by, was Harvey who got it off towards Quade Johnson. He found a target on the wing who handballs it back to Johnson who kept running. His kick on the left foot. Can he find a teammate? It gets to the 50, close to the boundary. It'll go over. So they've worked it to half forward, the Bloods, but they're making heavy weather of it. Throw in on the 50, broadcast or main grandstand side. 13 gone, third term. Scores a level, 7-5, 47 apiece.
And Matty Thornton pushing up into, not exactly the ruck, but he's moved right up the ground here.
Half forward for the Bloods. There's about 5 or 6 of them that are all blonde haired and they look the same. Sweeping on the ball was Isaiah Miller. He's a black haired one though. He puts it deep into the forward zone, hard up against the fence, only 20 metres out from goal. And their first real attack at the forward 50.
Well, they need a goal, Johnny. They need a goal here, the Bloods. They need a steadier. Because it's Sandhurst have had the ball on a string this quarter so far.
Barnard Street end. Thornton will do the ruck. He'll go up against Leroy Miller. He's a big boy as well. Falls to the front of the pack. Just a number of players around that footy. It's hacked out by the Dragons, but it's going to come back in the other way. Oh, the Bloods. It was a poor kick, and Ireland takes it in his defensive arc. He'll come laterally. He'll find a teammate in Ross. Ross will give it over to another teammate who will send it long down the wing. That was rough. Puts it to Collins. Got a lot of it. Good work there by our man in Strawn. Geez, a lot of getting involved here. Lindsay, Collins, Coughlin by hand. Parry breaks into a space. 48 out from goal, and he'll line them up. So workmanlike. They'll reap the rewards here, I reckon. He's a good long kick.
Geez, Josh, when Collins handballed that ball back, I thought he's handballed it to a teammate who's flat-footed, but they worked it well.
Yeah, they got lucky, and it was purely because no one tracked Parry. He sort of just ran forward as all the guys were drawn to Collins. Parry got the space.
He's got an unusual ball drop, but I tell you what, he can kick this an absolute proverbial country mile. Swings, give a bloke a rap, Ronnie, and what do you get? Out of bounds on the full.
Should know better, Johnny.
Well, he actually didn't kick through that one. Usually he's a really booming kick, so no result. I thought he should have done better.
Well, it must have went out of bounds on the full because it's a Bloods free kick. They bring it in short. Mark taken by Johnson, who's had a good game. Quade Johnson, left footer.
Oh, give a bloke a rap.
Turned it straight over. And the mark has been taken for the Dragons. They waste no time. The handball's off to Zach East, who winds up from 50 and kicks it behind. But they lead by that behind at almost the 16-minute mark. Sandhurst back in front, 7-6-48. Lead South Bendigo, 7-5-47. Johnny, we got the close one, all right?
We have, and it's a long time since they've had the lead, if at all. Wright now goes short. He's got a teammate.
I think they led at quarter time, but only by a couple of points.
In Hare. He'll drive it beyond 50. There's nobody there. Oh, then good work at the rear of the Packers. Hinderloo's been good. Dishes it off by hand inboard to Isaiah Miller. He'll send it wide to Swatton. So they're just sharing it around now off half back. Bloods down the line. Keck rang under the footy and he held Price. I'll tell you what, Ronnie, not potting the umpires, but they say the umpires do a good job if you don't notice them. But I reckon I've noticed this whistle almost every time they go near the ball.
Yeah, well said.
Yeah, I think we've had a few too many today, Johnny, as the Dragons bring it down the line. Mark taken. McKinley works it to Collins. Too far out to score. Wheels around. Right footer to the hot spot. Right at the back. Clever mark taken by Sheehan for South Bendigo in defence. So the Bloods halt that for a forward. Short one. Quade Johnson again getting plenty of it, Johnny, at half back.
Yeah, Quade. I wonder if he's named after Ricky. You'd never heard a bloke by the name of Quade, have I? But anyway, Jade Sheen
Okay, give it to him because of his name.
comes across half-back to Zach here. Another one. We'll make him one of the blonde brigade as well. He's not quite, but he's almost there. Oh, good work. Up the field was Caden Antonowitz. It's unusual having this far down the ground as Wharton tried to sucker in the umpire and kick it long inside forward 50, but he will have not a bar of it.
I tell you what, Josh, it might be survival of the fittest. Very close game, and we're getting to the back half of the third quarter, so going to be a really last man standing affair in the last term, you get the feeling.
Yeah, and bulk changes now. This is where interchange is important because there's a lot of guys at the moment with their hands on hips, and this is where the versatility of some blokes is going to be called into action.
Right in front of us here, broadcast side. Thornton's doing the ruck work, rear position in the path of Parry. Probably should have picked that footy up. Didn't. Throw a blanket over about 5 or 6 players. 60 out from goal for Sandhurst. Let's go around the grounds down to the camp reserve. Eagle Hawk are kicking away 16-13, 109. Castlemaine 2-7-19. Here's Ron Rogers.
Thornton got it down, trying to break through the pack there was Dole. Got it off to a teammate so they can share it and reload here, the Dragons, although the up and under kick will fall at the 50. Huge back around this, no mark. Reading the play brilliantly there was Minari. Got the ball in short, and the mark taken by Holmes. He likes something he sees. He chips it into the hot spot, only 30 out from goal. And it's a Dragons mark, and they'll have a shot at goal, this time through Nick Stagg. Now, he's had a couple of shots at goal, and he's certainly closer this time.
Yeah, it'll be in his head. This is the closest he's gotten, but he has missed probably about 3 or 4, I reckon. So, really important kick here because Sandhurst have been dominating. Need to cap it off.
So Nick Stagg, he'll kick it from about 35. He needs to get right in. He's got a long run up. He kicked it from 40. The distance is there. The accuracy is not.
Just stabbed at it, Ronnie. Just stabbed at it. He's definitely lost his confidence, I think.
2-point lead to Sandhurst. 19 gone third term. Sandhurst 7-7-49. South Bendigo a 7-5-47 with thanks to Holden Colorado at Poyser Holden.
Brad Wright went short down the guts to Haddo, who's deep in his defensive zone for the Bloods. He'll spread it wide to the outer side of the ground. Comes off hands. That was Daniel Johnson for his first touch of the afternoon.
Yeah, I think he's just come on. He's having a bit of a run in the ruck, I think, Johnny.
Yeah, he's got a bit of body about him too. Yep. I'll put him in the blonde-haired brigade as well. So it looks like he's going to do the ruck work on a half forward. Geez, it's a long, high throw up. Strawn rucked his own ball for the Dragons. He'll send it to McKinley. Couldn't quite get it. Bartels probably should have been penalised then. He just didn't look at the footy. Swatting at ground level for Bloods.
There we go.
Dished out there to Andy Collins. Hard up against the line. Left footer! Thank you very much, Andy Collins. That's his first. They extend the lead. 8-7-55 Dragons. 7-5-47 South Bendigo. 20 minutes in the third. Thanks to Choices Flooring. Bendigo bulk carpets on Bendigo's Fresh FM, where local footy is our first choice.
Well, this is a bloke who got knocked out cold pretty much 10 minutes into the game. He has come back on and he's been a tireless worker through centre half forward. It reminds me of Nick Rewalt, the way he leads up at the ball and then just gets straight back around and gets in. And in that case, he was just lucky that his man zoned off and the ball fell in his lap for an easy goal. Brad Wright is down there as an experienced defender for South Bendigo. He needs to settle this side because they're in real trouble.
The margin is out to 8 points. Tossed up from the restart. Chris got it down. Holmes is there for Sandhurst. He's been really good for them today. Just knocked it wide for a teammate. Then tried to do some shepherding. That was well done. Price has got it. Kicks it to the 50 for the Dragons. The ball's knocked forward there. A chance to reload it. Guess who's got it? Andy Collins. Handball's off back to Price. He's in trouble. Needed to squirt out the handball wide. His teammate got it and then was immediately tackled and slung to ground. That was Minari. What's the umpire going to say?
Yeah, he had his head over the ball and got cleaned up. He's been given a free kick.
So, probably within range, although it would be a tough kick. He's just inside the 50 on the outer under the scoreboard. Not the easiest place to kick a goal here at the QEO. So he goes short. And the long kick by East, I think it is, has a flying shot, but he's offline. It's a behind. So they're peppering away Sandhurst. 8-8-56. South Bendigo 7-5-47. 21 and a half gone third term, Johnny.
Zach Hare goes short by foot to McCutcheon. And pick him out with that mop of hair.
Yeah, you can't miss him. That's one we can't miss.
No, I wish you'd get more of the footy to Bartels. Bartels has taken a good strong mark, contested in front of the eyes. Still in his defensive zone. Broadcast side. He's directing traffic a little bit here. Oh, he just pops it up. I don't know the point of that, but he's kicked it to the 2-on-1 contest, and the two were with Sandhurst. Let's see who's going to win this footy. It's going to be the Dragons.
Look out.
Coughlin puts it on the left. It's an awkward ball to Parry, but effective. He's still on the wing. Now Parry turns and goes deep into the pocket. Thornton's got front position, had a lot of it. Oscar Kinley picks it up, puts it to the outside of the boots.
Geez, that would have been a goal.
Wow, just a minor score. So Sandhurst 8-9-57, 10-point margin now, 7-5-47. The Bloods 22.5 in the third on Bendigo's Fresh FM.
Spelling the mark from the kick-in was Hindle, and then he had a bit of work to do. It's knocked out of play. So it's still across half forward for the Dragons. It'll be thrown back into play. They're got the ball trapped in their 50, and they are peppering the goals. They lead by 10 points as we close in on three-quarter time. 23 minutes gone. Thornton got it down. Working hard underneath all that, the Dragons player.
Both Blair Holmes and Taylor Strawn are just sitting out the back of this contest, waiting for the ball to come out. Accountability's got to be important here for South Bendigo.
So it'll be tossed up with Stagg underneath all that. Chris knocked it to the back. McCutcheon, but into the punch by his teammate, who's immediately tackled by Coughlin, and the umpire says, give it to me. I'll toss it up. 50 out from the Sandhurst goal.
Umpire now with the footy. He'll throw it up. A lot of players around the ball. Up they go. Thornton did the ruck work. McCutcheon was there. Picked out his hair easy, Ronnie, as he put it to a pack of players. Can't pick out a player at the bottom of that because there's about 3 or 4 of them.
You and me can only dream about having hair like that now, Johnny.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I have, but it's on me back, Ronnie, so that's the problem.
Don't tell people that. Too much information.
And it's a hot, sweaty day, so do you know enough? As the ball just
getting closer to the window here, folks.
taps over the boundary line, we'll have a throw in, 70 out from goal.
It's trapped over there at the minute, Johnny.
Yep, 10 points to the Dragons. They've come out in this third quarter and they've...
Well, it's a 4-goal turnaround, though. The Bloods led by 14 at half-time.
Now, Thornton in the ruck again against Crisp, who's been good. Umpire says play on. McCutcheon again just handballs it in the air to a pack of
That
players.
was a hospital one, that one.
Yeah, it was. It comes to the back door now through Coughlin. Coughlin now to... Oh, Collins had the spot. It was just a fingertipper and couldn't quite get it. Wharton got a toe poker to it. It was smothered. Now 25 out from goal on a pretty tight angle. We're all tied up. We'll have a ball up. 10-point margin. It's the Dragons. They're doing all the attacking here, red time in the third quarter.
Thrown up, only 20 from their goal. Knocked down, little toe poke to it. Won't have the distance. That was by McKinley. Bloods can reload now and run out of defence. Hare on his bike, as you'd expect with a name like that. Kicks it long towards the wing. Bit of no man's land. It's going to bounce and pitch and roll out of bounds. The umpire, where is he? What's he going to say? Throw it in? Throw it in.
Jakey Paul Brett wanted deliberate. Right? Not going to work that way, mate.
Tell you what, it does sometimes down the big stuff. They don't mind paying them, but it'll be a throw in here on the wing. Swimming pool side, Johnny.
Crisp, he's being huge this afternoon for the Bloods, but he's up against it because he's not far behind him in Strawn. He's done very well. Let's see what the Bloods can do. Bartels asked for a free kick and got one because he was held. He just threw his arms back and on the true centre wing position. Swimming pool side, outer side.
Dare I say it, they need a goal, Johnny?
They do. Bartels, you've got to be careful. Tries to step around a player. You should be pinged. Holmes has got him.
No, he's paid a trick.
Oh, just where's your sense of theatre, umpire?
No, he paid it that it was legged. So you make up your own mind.
Well, look, I just reckon if you're taking a player on, the player that's tackling you needs a little bit of poetic licence, really. It goes long inside forward 50. Ross.
Again, he's been great
the
today.
third quarter specialist in the third quarter. He goes short. Coughlin now. He'll go short again. They'll move it nicely and ends up with Wilkinson. Wilkinson to Ross off half back. Sorry, Ronnie.
Yep,
Keep
you're
it
right.
going across
Keep
half
going,
back.
mate. Keep going.
We've got a ball just... it was a nice bit of work there with Wilkinson. The old 1-2. Now by the Dragons.
Great
and
mark.
a good mark's being taken. They're moving it really nicely, aren't they? This is a player in Lindsay. Hasn't had a lot of it. Sharing it around. Ends up with Minari. Dances one way, then the other. He's pinged.
He gone.
Gonzo, is that
Absolutely.
the word you used?
Yeah, Gonzo, Johnny.
I'll use Gonzo. So I
Good
really
tackle.
like that build-up. And the free kick will be given to Tommy Brereton in his back half. For
That was the
Bloods,
old one-arm tackle, Josh. It was a good one, wasn't it? He grabbed him by the one arm and he was, in the words of yours truly, he was buggered. He kicks it up towards the wing. That's a terrific mark by Cody Price. Going to square it off for the Dragons. Back in towards the middle of the ground. So they're just going to reload here. Little chip pass. That's okay. Mark taken by Zimmer. It's your man, Josh.
He's been good.
He's true wing. Has a bit of a false start and then got called to play on. So he kicked it high inside the 50.
Oh, no talk.
No mark taken. Bloods defenders come in, try to work it out. That might have been a push in the back. The umpire let it go. Chance for big Strawn. Knocked it over to a teammate who got it off to Zach East, who can wind up from 45 and grill it. He's been trying to do that all day, Zach East. He finally got one through the major opening. That's his first goal. And the Dragons get a bit of breathing space. 9-9-63. South Bendigo 7-5-47. 28 gone. Here's Josh Dorp.
Well, boys, we spoke well and truly about the ruck battle at halftime and how Callum Chris has been dominating. He's been well and truly exposed by Taylor Strawn this quarter. And just in that contest there, a genuine one-on-one. Strawn got the body, Crisp fell to the ground. Strawn kept his feet, got the handball out, created the goal, and Crisp looks cooked at the moment.
Yeah, danger signs. He's not the only one that looks cooked. They all look a bit tired. The hot weather.
Here they go.
Strawn again, give it by hand. to Coughlin, but it was a poor kick and it's intercepted across half back to Daniels. Daniels will spread it wide. It was off the side of the boot, but luck's a fortune. He had a teammate there, so that was okay. This is Hindle. He's invited to play on by the umpire. There goes that whistle again. Hindle to Keck. Couldn't find him. The Dragons are going to come again here. Holmes will collect the football. Might have got one high. They dived in on his back, one or the other. Oh, he's been pinged. Well, Ronnie, I called it wrong. Obviously, I'm sitting up here because I'm not an umpire, but I think he might have been a bit stiff. And Daniels will receive a free kick.
I think the Sandhurst bench in front of you agreed. A few hats thrown and...
So the Bloods off half back. Quade Johnson got it to the back of the pack. Chance here for the Bloods. They work it forward. Harvey can get it deep inside the 50. No mark. Gee, Dragons have got a lot of numbers and they'll get a quick kick, hurry kick out of defence. Didn't go far. There's that man again. Quade Johnson, he tried to take on about 20. Got it to Thurgood. He's tackled and brought down. That's holding the ball surely. Umpire agrees. Free kick to the Dragons. 20 from the goal they're defending, Johnny. And that was a good bit of defensive work by Sandhurst.
Geez, they look good, don't they? Sandhurst at the moment. Palpratt receives it in the back pocket. Siren goes. What an interesting third term. It is South Bendigo. They are 7-5-47. Sandhurst a 9-9-63. That is a 16-point margin. Don't go anywhere. This promises to be a big last quarter. Can South Bendigo come back after dominating for 3 quarters, or Sandhurst? They look the fitter team. Will they just kick on with it? Where local footy is our first choice on Bendigo's Fresh FM. Right, but geez, didn't we see a turnaround there, Ronnie?
Yeah, no doubt. It was a lot of scoring for Sandhurst. They kicked 5 goals, 6 in that third term to South Bendigo's 1 straight, taking a 14-point deficit to a 16-point lead at the final change.
They're still in this game, you know, the start that they had allowed them to keep in this game, but if they don't kick the first, if Sandhurst kick the first couple, I reckon they could really blow away here.
So going into the ruck, Taylor Strawn for Sandhurst, South Bendigo. It's been Cal Crisp all day. Up they go. Strawn might have had the best of it. Comes off a couple of sets of hands. Quick kick forward by Wharton of Sandhurst. High toward half forward. No mark. Reading the crumb pretty well was Daniels for South Bendigo. Off half back. Up towards half forward. Good mark though. Taken in front by Price. And he'll reload for the Dragons.
He's working himself nicely into this game, Cody Price.
Lovely kick.
Wasn't it what? He finds Big Strawn. Runs to 70. Puts it in the pocket.
Oh, here they go.
Leading Collins. You put it on the outside of the boot and dribble it through. Good start. That's his second. Sandhurst now go to 10-9-69. South Bendigo are 7-5-47. That's only in the opening minute of this third term. Thanks to Holden, Colorado at Poyser Holden. Bendigo's Fresh FM local footy is our first choice. And Josh, as we go round the grounds in the Heathcote Footy League, North Bendigo kicked 5 goals to 2 in the third quarter on the back of Kelm's dominance in the ruck. 3-quarter time, Huntley 12-7-79. The North Bendigo 8-8-56, thanks to Wayne Smith out there at Heathcote.
So that game mightn't be over either, Johnny. Chris got it down here. Quade Johnson for South Bendigo. Handballs it off. They'll go forward through Bartels inside the 50. He wanted Thurgood. He'll find it at ground level. Needs support. Handballs off to McCutcheon. Has an open goal to shoot at, but he's offline. In the words of yours truly, Johnny, he was across the face, and it's a behind.
Fortunate for Paul Pratt. Dropped the chest mark he probably should have taken. Got let off the hook there.
Margin 9-9-63. Plays 7-6-48. It's 15 points at the 1 minute mark of the final quarter.
Right, let's see if we can get South Bendigo on their bike here. Well, the ball is with, of course, Sandhurst because the kick out goes to East. East will come laterally to Alex Wharton deep in the back pocket. Broadcast side in the rifle pocket by foot. It's short and neat to East. They look like they just want to work it out just calmly and coolly. Over the top by foot to Coughlin. We've moved about 30 metres with about 4 or 5 possessions, but they'll maintain it. Coughlin now, down the line. Collins, let it bounce. Feeds it off to Stagg by hand. He's got a player in rough breaking for him. Just ambles after the ball. Keeps it in. He's laconic but effective. Minari has got it now. Puts it on the boot. It's an awkward kick to Thornton at the ankles. Made him work. Oh, South Bendigo under pressure. Let's see what they can do with the ball now. They'll kick it out. Oh, Parry jumped a mile. roving the ball. The back door is Miller, and he'll send it down the wing.
Looking for a teammate at the back. That's a terrific mark. Taken there by, not McKinley, but Ross. Gets it off. Long, back to the 50, but they're playing a bit of kick to kick. South Bendigo marked defensively. And they can work the ball out of their defensive area. Little short one's okay.
Oh,
Did he play on or not? The umpire says he has. That was Zach Hare, and he's tackled. And now he's pinged holding the ball. Well, just no awareness.
It's only a half step, Ronnie, but it was enough.
No
Bendigo
awareness.
bench are pleading that he didn't play on them, but I think he definitely stepped off his mark.
So Oscar McKinley, the tackler, will take the free kick and well within range. Only about 40 out directly in front. That's an awful feeling when you do something like that as a defender.
Yeah, and this could really blow it open.
So McKinley, yet to kick a goal today. Comes in from 40. No, he's not going to kick a goal with that either. That wasn't all that pretty off the boot, and it's a behind. So 10, is that scoreboard right, Johnny? 10-10-70?
I'm not going to say.
10-10-70, plays 7-6-48. The margin is 22 points at the 3-minute mark. I think they were slow updating it when Sanders kicked that goal a bit earlier.
Yeah, they were. They're just sometimes a little bit slow on the uptake, but we'll forgive them for that. Nice hot day. It was right, kicked it out, and then received a kick back right hard against the goal line. Brad Wright for the Bloods. He'll send it beyond 50, looking for Nolder. Come off hands. Defensively, Zimmer. Geez, he did well again and just popped it over the line.
Got a bit of work to do, the Bloods boys. 22 points. It's a game-high lead, I think, for the Dragons. I don't think they've been as far in front as that all day.
It's been a premium too, hasn't it? The goal kicking. Fitness is going to come into it. Hot, steamy weather. Parry. East, office support. Zimmer. By hand. Holmes. They just share it around. Holmes now long, looking for Collins. Deep in his forward zone. Front of the pack. Price. South Bendigo under pressure. Comes over the top. See what they do with the footy now. They're deep in their back zone. Ball comes out. So it was a long kick to right. Ground level. They dive in after the football. In fact, that was Daniels. In the area is Strawn.
Oh,
we got 1 2 eyes, surely. Umpire let it go. 2 sore players there as well. Picked up by Coughlin for the Dragons. He's got Zimmer in the corridor. Finds him, takes a mark in front of his eyes, and he'll line them up. Not sure if he's got the journey.
Oops.
Hasn't. Or Holmes. In fact, it was East. Received the handball, then dropped it. Then he was good enough to pick it up. Runs his measure. He's got a player in Minari breaking for him. And they tried to muck it up there, but they didn't. And now they'll have a shot at goal. How about, boys, you just have a shot at goal and stop this mucking around?
Liam Bartels has just come to the bench after that small little heavy head knock we were talking about before, and he doesn't look like he's in the best at the moment.
Stagg led into the pocket. It was an awkward kick. They dive in on top of him. He looks like he's in a bit of trouble, Stagg. Just keep your eye on him, Cam, at ground level as the ball goes over towards the boundary line. And we'll have a throw in 40 out from the Dragons' goal.
5 minutes gone, final term, 22-point lead to Sandhurst. From the ruck stoppage, Big Chris did okay. He tried to farm out a handball, but missed Miller with it. Dragons got in the way, and they might be able to work this forward here. Left footer comes inboard. Standing in the hole, though, that's Daniels, and he'll take the defensive mark for South Bendigo.
He'll spread it wide. He's got a player breaking for him. This is all South Bendigo here. They need to make the most of it. Antonowitz up with a lead. The old 1-2, back to Torpy. Torpy into the pocket. He'll be looking for Thurgood, who's been relatively quiet, who puts it over the line, 35 out from goal. As we go around the grounds for other Heathcote scores. Leachville 132, Heathcote 8, LBU 97, White Hills 23, Mount Pleasant 53 against Elmore 46. So some interesting results out that way, Ronnie.
Absolutely. Thrown in here on the 50 for the Bloods. Thurgood on hands and knees. Tries to get to his feet and he's tackled. The umpire says, holding the ball. Probably fair enough. He probably needed to handball it while he was on the ground rather than trying to get to his feet. But the umpire all over it. Free kick to the Dragons will go to Wilkinson.
And great work by Wilkinson. He's probably had Thurgood's number, I reckon, all day today. He's tried pretty hard.
And a man in short, Coughlin, marks, defensive 50 for the Dragons. They have a 22-point lead and are not in a great hurry at the moment. He works it up the line. Holmes been instrumental in this lead for Sandhurst.
Oh, careful.
Going to go backwards. Back to Wilkinson, who's going to switch. That's dangerous. Almost cut off. Ireland has a footy in front of him. He's under pressure close to the boundary. Gets some assistance. Got it back to Ireland, whose kick was smothered. Keck's there, he can't trap it. They dive in on top of it. The umpire's going to call for it and we'll have a bounce.
Let's go around the grounds. Again, this is Golden Square, 18-13. Maryborough are 4 goals for. Also, the Storm have started their game. They are 2 goals straight, and Gisborne are yet to score. Local footy is our first choice here on Bendigo's Fresh FM. A lot of footy going on around Central Victoria. That was the old collar, wasn't it?
The old coat hanger.
Coat hanger. It might have been Sheen. And Keck's got the blue boots on as well. Let's just wait. It's Keck, I reckon. There it is.
Yeah, it's Keck.
Underneath a scoreboard. Wouldn't that be a magnificent kick from there?
Well, gee, they need a goal, dare I say.
Well, he's almost going to have to pay admission to get back in where he's standing.
Oh. Backside on the fence, as a great Barry Denner would say.
That's where I used to play when I was running around, Ronnie.
Tell you what.
I tell you what. Ooh. That's a point.
You give it a ride, though.
Car horn might have put him off.
Yeah, I was with you. That takes South Bendigo to 7-7-49. Dragons 10-10-70. 8 minutes in the third. Thanks to Holden, Colorado at Poyser Holden on Bendigo's Fresh FM.
Price brings it in. Good kick too. Wilkinson. Handball's off. The big ruckman, Strawn, takes it and then kicks it down the wing. He was looking there for McKinley. South Bendigo defenders come across this time through the agency of Swatton and knock it out of play. Throw in true wing. Broadcast or main grandstand side.
That's what happens when a ruckman tries to hit a 15-metre target.
Kick short. It's a recipe for disaster.
I have been known to go early, Ronnie, but I'm going early. I reckon this is over.
Yeah, well,
I reckon the tickets are spent here by South Bendigo. They just don't seem to be coping at the moment. Tracking the footy was Zimmer again. Picked up by Rogerson, however, the Bloods. It was just a nothing handball
How good's this bloke
to
been?
Holmes. Yeah. Oh, geez, he got a knock, but geez, he tough. Up he gets. That was good footy. Bloods now. Haddo. He'll bounce it. Wing. Handball, Johnson. It's been good. On the left, Antonowicz leads. Oh, geez, he hit the pack hard too. And, well, it's all the Dragons and
Ross
a nice
again.
mark by Ross in his
great
defensive zone.
great
Bit of courage
coach,
being
yeah.
shown out there, Ronnie.
yeah, absolutely. Johnny works the ball back to the middle of the ground. Looking at Stagg with the footy, it is. So defensive side of the centre circle for Sandhurst. Nick Stagg brings it to the lead of Collins. How courageous has he been?
Yeah.
Knocked out early in the game. Comes back on and still shows them how to play. Long ball inside the 50. Didn't hit the target, or he wanted Strawn, but he was well spoiled. And the ball's out of play, but deep in the Sandhurst attacking zone. You reckon they're doing enough, Johnny, don't you? 10-10-70. They lead by 21 points. South Bendigo are 7-7-49. 10 minutes third term. Thanks to Choices Flooring. Bendigo Bolt Carpets.
Deep in the forward pocket for the Dragons. See what they can do with this footy. Get another one on the board. It'd have to be a seal if they could get one. Bloods did well through Hindle. Let me go around the grounds again because I'm not going to like this at all. Eagle Hawk 23-14-152.
It's a shellacking.
2-8-20 the Magpies. Not much better. Kyneton 25-10-160. Kangaroo Flat 7-4-46.
Wow.
So a couple of shellackings in the Bendigo Footy League, which we don't like to see, and who knows what will happen with Maryborough and Golden Square as Parry picks up the footy for the Dragons by hands to Thornton. Zeb Green fishes it out. They're doing well down there. That was Stagg, and it was a poor kick, and it's just intercepted by Miller of the Bloods, and he'll send it laterally, and the hands of Corey Daniels deep in the back pocket.
Yeah, he's got a runner. Player working hard for him. And the mark taken, I reckon it's Swatton. Let's have a look, get the glasses on him. Brings the ball down the wing. He wanted Harvey, couldn't take the mark. The old Dragons have the numbers, but the Bloods get a kick off the deck. That was through Johnson, but again, it'll get turned over here. Weighted numbers with Sandhurst. They win it at half back, although Johnson, not to be denied, knocked the handball out of play and forces a throw in across half forward.
Yeah, good result for South Bendigo.
Yeah, it was. They were totally outnumbered. 10-10-70, the Dragons. South Bendigo 7-7-49. You might be right, Johnny. 11 and a half gone final term.
Let's see if we can get them up and about. It's a funny game. As the ball's fed out to Coughlin by hand, a short pass. That was okay. Finds McKinley, dishes it off by hand to Wharton. Wharton now will run.
That's a lovely
Oh, wasn't it? I reckon Strawn's playing down forward. His hard lead. Took it in front of the eyes, contested. Brad Wright was right up his hammer.
Now, I reckon you'd be running past for a handball here, wouldn't you?
You would, because he'd dish it off.
Wharton snuck off the bench then to get into that involved in that better play, so that was really cheeky by him.
Geez, wouldn't it? This will be a
Now,
luxury.
I've put it on him here, Johnny, that he's not much of a kick for old Strawny, but he's
He'll
going to have
kick
a
it.
shot.
When Tim Martin comes back in the side, isn't
He'll
this going to
probably-
be a luxury of riches with this man as well?
I'm going to put
Strawn.
it right through the middle now, I've said that.
It's an awkward kick.
Oh, there you go.
The crowd tells the story. He never looked like missing it
No,
right.
he didn't.
11-10, 76. The Dragons. The Blood 7-7, 49. 12.5 in the last. Thanks to Choices Flooring, Bendigo Bulk Carpets, where local footy is our first choice. Josh Dorr on Bendigo's Fresh FM.
Oh, you got to give full credit to Sandhurst. They were pretty poor in the second quarter for patches, but this second half has been completely dominated by them at every passage, every stoppage. They're getting weight of numbers. They're harder at it. They're spreading more. The defenders have been great, and now they're kicking goals. It's a great performance.
So, back in the ruck. Thornton knocked it forward. East trying to run onto it. Gang tackled by about 3 South Bendigo players. Will have another stoppage. Just looking at the scoreboard, fellas, it's been 1 goal for South Bendigo since half time.
Yeah.
So it's been a real struggle for them to score, whereas Sandhurst have added 6 goals, 7, so 13 scoring shots.
We might have a chance here as it goes to half forward, but who's there? It's Holmes and Ross. Those two names. You're not going anywhere with the footy as it's fed out to Leighton Ross. He goes to the outer wing in Zeb Green. He's got 2 leading players in Collins, and the other player was Lindsay. Neither of them got the footy. We've got one for a push. They'll go away of the Bloods. Didn't see what that one was for, but they've got the footy. Receiving the ball now across half back will be Zach Hare. He'll spread it wide. Broadcast wing. Bouncing ball. Wharton. Happy to see it over the line. Taps it. Disguised it nicely, and on the true centre wing position will have a ball in.
And Ronnie, you mentioned it well. I mean, this is their problem here. They get it up to here, South Bendigo, but it's the next kick out of this stoppage. Once again, they've got numbers behind Sandhurst. There's just not a lot of movement for the forwards at the moment.
So he might have got into the back of his opponent, Thornton. The umpire let it go in the ruck. Ball in dispute. Hands and knees trying to work it out was Brereton. He's held up. The umpire said, "You're holding the footy."
Let's go around the grounds, Ronnie. Back, thanks to Richard Jones. Just with the Tigers against Kangaroo Flat, they kicked 13 goals in the third. Ethan Foreman's got 8.
Zimmer's kicked that very high inside the 50. Collins had a couple to beat. Trying to run onto it and doing a pretty good job of it too was Dole. Got it off to a teammate who had a flying shot. And it's a goal to the Dragons.
Pretty sure it's Dole, mate.
He did. He got around an opponent, did he? He did, and put it on his own boot. And I had to look down at the sheet because he's wearing the wrong number, of course. But he's kicked the goal, and that you would think is about all she wrote. 12-10-82 Sandhurst. South Bendigo 7-7-49. 15 gone final term. Thanks to Holden, Colorado at Poyser Holden. Here's Josh Dorr.
Yeah, I mean, it just sums up, I guess, the stage of the game we're at the moment. You know, Dole's got the legs to be able to just cruise past a couple of defenders. I mentioned pre-game that they started pre-season late, but they look like they've got more legs at the moment.
Oh, gonzo is the word. I'm going to use that word at work, and they're going to say, "What the hell are you talking about? Who you been hanging around with on the weekend?" Holmes again gets
I'll
the
say
football.
some idiot.
Manari receives it on half forward. He'll now kick it long. It just fades, and geez, that could have very easily been another major. It wasn't. 12-11-83 Sandhurst, 7-8-50 South Bendigo, 15.5 in the last, where local footy is our first choice.
Yeah, Brereton marked the kick in, but his kick's been cut off. Wharton's marked it. He'll send the Dragons back inside the 50. Huge pack. Collins up way before acceptances. Daniels for South Bendigo got a defensive handball. Found its target though and put right in a bit of space. He was able to chip it short, find a teammate in the back pocket.
This is Haddo. He'll go short by foot to Hindle. They've both been pretty good. Hindle just pulled up a bit lame then. He'll come inboard to McCutcheon, who dropped a mark he should have taken. East is there on half forward. Feeds it to Leighton Ross by hand. Feeds it now to another teammate in Zimmer who's been good. They're sharing it around by hand. Wharton, East, Thornton. Handball, handball, handball. Now this is going to be a long spreading ball to Dole, who led to the outer side wing. Now he'll weigh up his options. To Long, left footer. Collins is leading. 48 from goal. Hard up against the line. He'll kick a short pass in the direction of that man again in Strawn. He's either taken a mark or it's out of bounds on the full hard up against the fence. The way he's protesting, I reckon he's not going to get a kick.
Charlton Hindle's hobbled off the ground. They think it's only cramp at the moment, but he's still hobbling off and looks pretty sore.
Yeah, well, that mark is now going to be paid thanks to Cam Power at ground level. Strawn
Go the old banana, the boonana.
The banana, righto, or check side, boomerang, whatever they used to call it. Hard up against the fence. He's gone the drop punt. And I reckon
On the full.
it is oob. Out of bounds on the full. No change to the score. 49 South Bendigo, Sandhurst 83-17 in the last. As local footy is our first choice on Bendigo's Fresh FM.
That's the kick we were more expecting earlier, Ronnie, before he went and dobbed that one right through the middle.
Exactly. Yeah, he made a lie of me, didn't he? So a 34-point lead to Sandhurst. And we've ticked past the 17-minute mark. Bloods bring it in short. Quade Johnson's never stopped trying. Chips it short. Keck. Was he spoiled? Chopped the arm, said the umpire. Against Price, it'll go to Keck. 30 from the goal, he's defending. Going to kick it longer now. Wharton in good position. Did he make the spoil? He tried to claim the mark. Umpire not having that. Knocked forward by Miller. And now the Bloods can just try and work it forward. Bartels eventually tried to dive on it, and they dived on him. The umpire says, "I'll have it, fellas." But he did a good job. He worked it toward half forward for South Bendigo. We'll have a bounce.
Right in front of us here. Thank you, Ronnie. Broadcast side, I don't need the specs or the binos. As Thornton up in the ruck, he goes. Haddo was there, tried to pick it up. A lot of hard tackling still going on there. Sheen, I liked your work. You're not going to be rewarded, though. The umpire will do it all again. Stagg might have got one in the calf then. Just keep your eye on him. Cam Power at ground level. Thornton wins the tap. Geez, it was sweet to Coughlin. Probably took his eyes off at the wrong time. He had it spent and it just come off his hands. We'll have another throw in. It's 49 South Bendigo playing Sandhurst. 83. Right in front of us, broadcast side. This is the voice of Ron Rogers.
Been a big second half for the Dragons. They've dominated since half time. Thrown in. Ball knocked to ground level. Cody Price picks it up. Hits it up to half 40. Wants Collins. Couldn't mark, but geez, look at his recovery. Brilliant. Handballs it off. McKinley. He tries to dob it into the forward pocket to the aid of his teammate. He probably should have had a shot at goal. He wanted to bring Lindsay into the game, but it's rolled out of play. Sorry?
Cody Price has pulled up lame. So Cam Power, get onto that one. I reckon he's really sore. It's either an ankle or a hamstring.
Throw in deep in the forward pocket for Sandhurst. They've got a match-winning lead, 12-11-83. South Bendigo, 7-7-49. 19 gone final term, thanks to Aussie Disposals.
You wouldn't want to lose him, would you? Now Nolder taps it to Bartels. Short pass. That was okay to Hindle. Still in the defensive zone. He'll come inboard back to Sheen of the Bloods. Defensively, his defensive goals at his back. Oh, be careful, son. Comes across the ground to McCutcheon.
They just can't get it out. It's this next kick now.
It was a nervous-looking ball then. Now McCutcheon inboard.
That's dangerous.
Kick. Parry intercepted. Holmes is lurking in the area. Parry offers support. Don't argue. Far too easily off Swatton. Now he'll bang it on the boot. And that's a goal. And that sums up this last term. That's his first. Sandhurst are now 13-11-89. And, well, the lead is extended 7-7-49, 20-minute mark of the last term. Thanks to Aussie Disposals, Bendigo's Fresh FM, where local footy is our first choice.
Incredible game, incredible performance. I mean, the scoreline, I think, probably is a bit of an overstatement on, I guess, what the sort of game we saw in the first half. It was close, it was competitive, it was hard fought, but Sandhurst has just been slicing through them over this last couple of quarters, and we're now looking at a 40-point margin, and full credit to the Dragons. They've just been able to work harder for longer.
So back in the middle, winding down this one, Strawn and Crisp, who's tried his heart out. Might have run out a bit of petrol in the second half. He's gang tackled as he tried to do his own roving, and we'll have another bounce. 40 points for Sandhurst after they trailed by 14 at half time. It's been a big second half. Knocked down in the ruck. Quick handball forward for Sandhurst. Cut off. Daniels got a kick for South Bendigo toward half forward. Couldn't find a teammate though, although from the melee, if you like, they've worked it forward inside the 50. Trying to run onto the footy was Keck. Couldn't get a clear passage. The Dragons defenders come in and try and work overtime. Now Keck's got it. Needs a support. He's tackled. Umpire said no prior. Good tackle put on by Wilkinson. We'll have a bounce. It's only about 30 out from the South Bendigo goal.
Well, it'll be too little too late if they get one, Ronnie, but certainly they have really died off, and Sandhurst have just kept on coming. The fitness has shown through. Well, there's just a hack out of the air by McCutcheon towards goal. East is there, however, for the Dragons. He calmly dishes off a handball now to Ross. Ross steps around a player. They're doing it a little bit too easy. Parry got through a tackle earlier on and kicked a goal. As it goes to half back, Minari was there, but it's going to come back in the other way now for the Bloods, and Brock Harvey is by himself. 45-degree angle. He'll kick it from 40 and he'll line them up city end.
Well, he's got 3, Johnny. He's had a pretty constructive day in front of goal, but like you say, going to be a bit too little too late. But for him personally, he'd be pretty happy, I reckon, if he could bag 4 and a pretty low-scoring 7 goals thus far. He'll have kicked half their goals if he can convert here.
Well, he came into the side today. He's an ex-Golden Square player. I like the way he goes about it, and I like the way that he goes about that for his 4th. So a productive afternoon for Brock Harvey as they just get a little bit back, and it's too little too late. It'll be the Bloods 8-7-55 trailing the Dragons 13-11, 89, 23 minutes into the last, thanks to Aussie Disposals on Bendigo's Fresh FM.
Always know how to kick a goal, Brock Harvey. He always bobs up with 3 or 4 no matter the result.
And a great sort of effort by him, considering the problems that have suffered going forward today, South Bendigo. I think they're still trying to work out what works best, but promising signs indeed.
I reckon these 2 ruckmen will sleep well tonight, boys. They've been at it pretty much all day. Strawn, Crisp got it down, Bartels. Up to a teammate who spread it wide. Hare can kick it towards the 50 for the Bloods. They can't take a mark though, Dragons defenders. Island receives the handball, dishes it off. Stagg across half back. Little dinky one out wide's okay. And how good's this bloke been? He's one of their best.
Super.
Blair Holmes takes the mark, defensive side of the wing for the Dragons.
And they've got a number of players to come back into, Ronnie, so interesting. Watch this space with Sandhurst as it goes to half forward. Parry is lurking, picks up the ball. He's had it too easy just in this last term. He'll put it around the body. He'll kick it to the hot spot. Good arm wrestle there by Nolder against Thornton. He probably won the battle on that occasion. The ball spilled to the back of the pack, hard up against the point post. And we'll have an umpire adjudicating and saying, I'll throw it up. Barnard Street end. It's actually starting to get a little bit overcast. Let's go around the ground. Gisborne have squared it up out there at Storm. In fact, it's 1 point margin now that the scoreboard has just changed. It's 2-2 playing 2-1. So it'll be interesting to see how Gisborne go in this twilight game. Umpire throws it up again. Swatton's there juggling football. They all jump on him. And we'll do it all again, Ron Rogers. 89 playing 59. Sandhurst are going to march towards this Graham Wright Cup.
They certainly are. Tossed up. There's no one getting anywhere out of that stoppage. Plenty of tired bodies, I think, Josh, as we close this one out. And the umpire is doing plenty of work tossing the ball up. It's deep in the forward pocket for Sandhurst. Again, no real clean possession. Stagg on hands and knees. He can't find a teammate. The ball's knocked from his grasp and out of play. So a throw in deep in the forward pocket for Sandhurst, who have a 34-point lead. 13-11-89. Plays 8-7-55 late in the final term. Knocked down. Chance for the Bloods to clear here. Player with the footy just takes his time and then drives it long. Might have been Haddow out towards the wing. Chance for South Bendigo here to work it forward. The handball comes out towards Johnson, been one of their best. Tired legs there, couldn't trap it. Working hard again was Haddow. It's the umpire saying high tackle, was it?
It's a Bloods kick. It's going to be Haddow, you're right. He has been serviceable, hasn't he? And he does look tired, Ronnie.
Yep, he'll take it, Johnny. Defensive side of the wing, swimming pool side.
It's a tired-looking kick and a tired-looking mark by Keck. They're just sharing it around here. In fact, it's Torpy. Torpy will now swing it laterally to the wing to Swatton. Chest mark running with the flight of the ball. True centre wing, broadcast side. Swatton, he had a serious injury last year, so good to see him back in the side. It's a poor kick. Coughed it up to Strawn. Strawn now for the Dragons will kick it to half forward. Players around this footy. Geez, it did well there with Stagg. Banged it on the boot in the direction of Lindsay. He's had a few touches. Sees it over the line. And on a half forward broadcast side, we'll have another ball in. 89 playing 59. It's all the Dragons. 26 and a half minutes here. Bendigo's Fresh FM, where local footy is our first choice.
So Shadows are full time here. Well, Chris being held has certainly got to get a free kick. I'm not sure what Perry was thinking there. Anyway, he handballs it off. The Bloods work at the half forward. Player in good position to mark here and does very well. That's Miller.
Leroy
Miller got a fair do on him. Chops it in short. And how good's this bloke been? He's tried his heart out. Quade Johnson for South on the 50. Just sits it up to the top of the goal square.
Oh!
Huge leap, mark of the day. Taken by Torpy. That was a terrific leap. Directly in front of goal. He's taken a hanger. 15 out directly in front, Josh.
There haven't been as many highlights as South Bendigo would have liked today, but that's certainly goes top of the list.
So Torpy, for his second goal, directly in front, only 20 out, should convert, and he does. So a little bit of respectability on the board there for the Bloods. Torpy gets his second goal. And at the 27.5 minute mark, the margin back to 28. 13-11-89 Sandhurst. South Bendigo 9-7-61. With thanks to Choices Flooring, Bendigo Bulk Carpets. Here's Josh Dorr.
Yeah, well, you mentioned it well there, Ronnie. Quade Johnson, he's definitely been South Bendigo's best. And I think a couple of guys out there in the red and white uniforms could sort of look at him and take some inspiration out of the way he's finished the game. He's done it strong. Not all of them have been the same. And it's been unfortunate they've brought the margin a bit closer. Probably hampers them a little bit with that third quarter absentee that they had. But a bit of positive signs at least.
Local footy is our first choice, so let's go around the grounds. Eagle Hawk, wait for this one, boys. 32-15, 207. Castlemaine 2-8-20.
Wow.
And
Big last quarter.
Yeah, Kyneton 27-11, 173. Kangaroo Flat 10-7-67 as the ball goes into the forward line for the Bloods, and I reckon they're going to have another shot at goal here on.
And may well.
Yeah, Torpy again.
Yep.
And it was Johnson again who got the ball to him, who's totally spent out on that far wing.
I'm just wondering if Jock Clark will be knocking on the door to try to get back into the commentator's box after a 30-point drubbing. He won't be happy. Let's have a look at what he's done with this footy. He sprayed it a little bit wide. Probably been a bit severe saying he sprayed it, but it certainly didn't kick a goal. So South Bendigo will now go to 9-8-62, 13-11-89, the Dragons. 29 minutes in the last. On Bendigo's Fresh FM, where local footy is our first choice.
Paul Pratt has boarded in, marked by Thornton, but there it is. A big win to the Dragons. They trailed at half-time, but a big third term set up their victory. 13-11-89, South Bendigo 9-8-62. A 27-point win for the Dragons here in the Grey.